in accident attorneys.
Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
In Miami, we go to the beach for a little salsito, and when we want a low price, we know you pay less with your Pricito de Mayo at Doral Hyundai. The Spurs missed a 3 at the buzzer and lost game 1 to the Timberwolves 104-102. The Knicks boat race the 76ers 139-98 and take a 1-0 series lead. Tonight at 7, Cavs Pistons, 8:30, Lakers Thunder. Carolina Hurricanes took a 2-0 series lead over the Philadelphia Flyers, winning 3-2. Vegas Golden Knights are up 1-0 in their series with the Anaheim Ducks, winning 3-1. Tonight, one game on the docket at 8 between the Minnesota Wild and the Colorado Avalanche. Jansen Junk gave up a solo home run to Bryce Harper in the third. That was enough. Phillies defeat the Marlins 1-0. 3-game series starts tonight, 6:40 against the Orioles. And the NHL lottery holds its draft tonight at 7 o'clock. The Panthers have a 6% chance of landing the top pick. This weather report is brought to you by Tornado Roofing and Contracting, replacing roofs, roof repairs, maintenance, and hurricane impact windows and doors. Visit tornadoroofing.com. Going to be partly cloudy and rainy throughout the day. I am Dan Day. It is time now for the Joe Rose Show here on 104.3 FM WQAM.
Smiling by my table, had a call up everyone I day. Beautiful mind and body, what a happy ending I see. My mind has been enabled, in the memory you overflow. Wanna be your superhero, or even if I tumble fall.
What a way to start the show, Dan Day. I love it. Bring us back to the Entourage days. There we go. I am Hollywood. Dan Day is with us this morning. We're going to have Omar Kelly and Alex Donno are going to join us here on the show today. Joe is out sick, so we're giving Joe a day to catch his breath here. Dan, I swear I am not the computer guy that maybe I used to be. I think things are passing me by these days. I am trying to get Omar Kelly up on the screen here. So Omar is with us. He will be with us momentarily here as I try to navigate through this stupid computer system or whatever this thing
I
is
got you. Commercial break. We got you. No problem.
Okay,
man.
There's Omar. I see Omar now. Omar, so I'm on Joe's computer this morning, and I don't know what sites he's been perusing, but there are like 50 different things that have popped up on the right side of my screen here. So I know that that's never good when you get those things that just keep popping up on the right side of the screen here. So can we even hear Omar? Omar, are you with us this morning?
I'm here. You hear me?
All right. So we are functional here. Good morning, Omar. How you doing, by the way?
Good morning. How are you? I can't even believe you began the show with an Entourage song, but that's just like you.
That was actually Dan's choice, but yeah, I happen to be a big fan of the program myself, so I'm good with that as the starter here. Omar, did you make it out to F1 this weekend? I know you like to go to all the Dolphins related events. It's costing us a Super Bowl, Omar. Did you enjoy yourself out at F1?
Yeah. I think if you can make $1 billion every week, why wait for every 6 or 7 years? I mean, make $1 billion every year. Why wait for every 6 or 7 years when the NFL decides to bless you with the Super Bowl? I was actually on the structure of the yacht that was built. That will be torn down. Mm-hmm. They built a $1 million yacht, multi-million-dollar yacht, just to tear it down for a weekend, just to use it for a weekend to tear it down. That's basically how much money is flooding into Hard Rock Stadium in this community for F1 week. So if you could do that every year, why wait for every couple of years for a Super Bowl? And truthfully speaking, I really don't enjoy the Super Bowl when it's here.
I have no idea why you don't enjoy the Super Bowl. Super Bowl is awesome when it's here, but yeah, Dan, like I like the Super Bowl. Well,
Omar, if you didn't get invited to hang out on a yacht, you'd probably be like, F1.
No, I enjoy F1. Even if I got to watch it from a fence, yeah, I enjoy it.
Well, let me just give you a taste of what we got. What we got yesterday was a lot of people are just upset overall at the fact that it has screwed up parking. It has, I don't think it has any impact on the product that the Dolphins have put on the field. I don't think that their focus is elsewhere. I don't really buy into that. I don't know if you do. But a lot of people yesterday are like, we just want the Dolphins to win. We don't care about this, stupid F1
I don't think
or
one has any.
tennis or
I don't think one has anything to do with the other. If you understand who Steve Ross was as an owner when he walked through the door, Steve Ross said, "I'm going to bring major sporting events to South Florida in this environment, in this community." Last I checked, the South Florida was going to have a World Cup, right? Correct? Yes.
yeah. But
Um,
again, a lot of people don't care about that stuff. Like I
I
know that 60,000 people will get to go to the World Cup who have that sort of money, but I don't think people care. Like I don't know how many people out there are like, oh my gosh, the World Cup's coming. This is so exciting.
I don't think one has to do with the other. The Dolphins situation is completely separated from what Stephen Ross has been doing for the community. The whole part of the whole genesis of all these events is to infuse money into South Florida, the community, and he's done that. Done that 3 times over. Yeah, people are upset that their Dolphins are going to be able to host the Super Bowl. Okay, that's not their decision. And in fact, I struggle to see how the stadium doesn't meet their standards when I've gone to Atlanta, I've gone to New Orleans. Both are in the middle of a downtown city, and I struggle to find parking, and I don't understand. I don't get it. I really don't get it, and I don't see what the issue is. But they want to, they want their event to be, I guess, the only event in the venue. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that was a weird thing too, is like they're complaining about parking, and you are right. There are a lot of stadiums that are in areas where the parking is, certainly not
Horrendous.
ideal.
Yeah.
I'm also, I said this yesterday, I think places like, Cleveland, just, the places that are essentially like the wastelands of sports, like they should get
Oh,
a
wow.
chance at a Super Bowl, shouldn't they? Like they should get a
When
chance.
they get a new stadium, they get a Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the unwritten rule of the NFL. You give public welfare to private companies that own these sports teams by renovating their stadiums. You get yourself a Super Bowl. Okay, cool.
yeah. I
What's
mean, I imagine Cleveland in a post like LeBron apocalypse once again, like their second time around with a post LeBron apocalypse over there. Like I just, give them a little, throw them a bone, throw them something over there.
I think
And
Cleveland's
Joe's like,
doing
what
all
are people going to do for 4 days over there? Like, they go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for one day. And that's
right.
it.
When's Cleveland getting the Super Bowl?
They're in the mix. Well, they're getting a new stadium. They're getting a big dome stadium. So they're going to be in the mix for them. But I look, man, I'm fine with it. I don't mind that. I think Miami should be in the mix as well. However, I happen to like the events that come around the Super Bowl. That's my thing. Like I like the NFL experience that they have at the convention center. I like the shows they have all over town, and Omar, I'm sure you like those night parties that they throw. Because you're a man of the night, and you get out to those things.
A man of the night.
Yeah, man. I haven't seen midnight in a long time. I know that's like when you're leaving the house. So
I leave the house at 11, sir. But yes,
11,
I understand your.
I haven't seen 11 lately either, Omar. But yeah, I think it's good for business when you get one of those. But more importantly, and I do agree, like with all the fans that are like, we just want the Dolphins to win. That's it. And we want a little convenience with that while the team sucks. Like they want to have their parking, and they don't want to spend, a fortune. I don't even know. Do you even know what parking costs at a Dolphin game these days? I don't even know. I'm sure it's expensive, but
people should text it. I have no idea. I grew up in that community. I grew up in that town. If you're a Dolphins fan and you don't know the people in Cherry Bay to go park at a reasonable price,
yeah, but I think people want to taotagate too. Like I think
of course, people want everything.
Want to tailgate.
People want everything. Your friends are tailgating somewhere in there. I know people who actually go to the Dolphins game just to tailgate, and which is very odd to me. But that's my nature because I don't really understand a fan experience because I haven't been a fan for 25 years. So I get it. But yeah, people just go to Dolphins game to tailgate. And then when the game kicks off, they go home. And I'm like, huh?
We need to find some fans that like you, some Dolphin fans that like you, and we need to
Oh,
get
don't
you
do
to.
that.
We need to just have like one day where someone else at your paper can cover the game,
Mm-mm.
and we need to have you go as a fan. That could be your column for the week, though. Like that could be your weekend column. Omar Kelly, the fan, experiencing it at the fan level.
You know, it's funny. I've always thought about this. This is how long ago it was. I thought, okay, when can you? I thought about putting a sort of study together. How far can a family's $200 get them for a sporting event? Like, and this is how far a family of four, $200.
$200. That's who you're setting the number at.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if you go to a Marlins game, you could be Kings for a day,
Okay.
for $200, right, for a family of four. If I don't think you could even get through the gates of a Dolphins game for a family of four for $200. I have to guess, just guessing, parking is in the range of $50 if you want to park at the stadium. Now, I don't. I usually do a shuttle.
Yeah, I mean, let's just assume you took the Hard Rock shuttle to the stadium.
Okay, so let's say you're
keep this as cheap
basically
as possible.
free. Let's say you're free at this point, right? Let's say you park at the casino, you take the 2-minute walk across the street, you take the shuttle. You're at free at this point.
Yes.
You're not getting into a Dolphins game, I would think, for much less than $50 a ticket.
Okay, so that means if we get,
that means you're tapped out going in.
200 in, we got to starve for the day. What about the Panthers? What does a family of four get for $200?
I'm guessing you get in the door and you have plenty of money left over for food and drinks, right? Dan, you're getting a family of four getting into a Panthers
Concessions are ridiculous at Panthers games.
They are brutal.
I mean, I had a friend from Ecuador taking pictures, and I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I just can't believe the prices. And I looked, and I was like, whoa.
But I think that's everywhere, though, in fairness to the Panthers. Like, I'm sure at Hard Rock, they're terrible.
Yeah. Are you getting into a Heat game, family of four for $200?
Absolutely. This is not the LeBron era. So I think this is interesting, though, Omar. It's an interesting experiment. And now that we have some downtime during the summer, why don't you do this? And I think you should lower it, by the way, because I think $200 for, a family of four little night out is a lot, to be honest. But
I mean, if
I would lower that number significantly
to a sporting event. I'm splurging right now. I'm thinking I can go get little Johnny and Jimmy some hot dogs, get a soda. I know I can't afford a drink for myself.
But you got to find, there's a lot better values out there as well, right? Like the Marlins are a tremendous value. The Marlins are a situation where you take the kids and they give you the little lanyards at the guest services thing. They got a little kids booth over there, and the kids get a lanyard and they stamp it. They give you a prize every single game that you go to. They have giveaways. They have the 4 for 44 deal where you can get tickets and food, and so the Marlins are a great value. If you like this, again, if you like baseball, Canes baseball is great.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
You
can get in there.
You can get yourself a shake. Yeah, absolutely. $200, you're living like a king at a Canes baseball game.
But and that's the thing we talked about too. Like a lot of Dolphins fans are not into the ticket thing anymore, and they're dumping their season tickets. And there's that thing is twofold for me. Like I understand that people go to games; it's a tradition. They love going to the games. It's a family thing. They do. That's one thing. But like the other thing, Omar, is the team has been bad for 25 years, and
team hasn't been bad
the
for
fact
25
that
years.
I personally.
Team has not been bad.
I go to about one or two Dolphins games a year, but I like sitting at home on Sundays and watching the rest of the league play. I know the Dolphins are our team and all that, but man, I love putting on Red Zone at 1:00 and having that on the other screen and being able to see everything that's going on in the NFL. Like to me, that's
not just that. You have
you have a
better view. You have a better view, better food. Better, your drinks are unlimited. I'm going to be real. I don't understand why fans go to football games, but hey, that's just my perspective. I'm forced to go.
I think you need fans to go because I think that's part of your business. But
I don't think so. The NFL TV money, the fans are just a backdrop. I mean, the NFL TV deals are worth billions of dollars. Billions.
Let's see here. Texter. We got, by the way, we're on YouTube this morning. So if you want to join our YouTube chat, you can certainly do that. We got our text thing up here. Said Orange, Texter says orange parking is only found on resale sites. It's usually 120 to 150. Yikes. Guy says a Hollywood World Cup game is much more prestigious than a loser Dolphins game. That's a little strong, but I listen. The World Cup does not do anything for me personally.
That's because you didn't.
I
get
know
tickets.
that it's a big event. I am very well aware of the magnitude of the World Cup. I don't plan on going to any of the games. Omar, I don't know if you're planning on going to any of the games, but I know my son wants to go. He keeps asking me.
Yes, I know.
He likes soccer. All the kids like
that's
soccer.
That's the root of your anger that you can't provide this experience for your son. That's
the World Cup.
Yeah.
Well, no. So the World Cup, I do imagine. I did read some articles about this. I do imagine there will be very, very cheap tickets come when these matches come around. They finally get to them. There are some lesser known places that are playing down here, and let's wait. Why don't you wait and see?
Okay.
I have read articles that say that they believe the tickets will drop significantly when these things get closer. Because I don't know what kind of demand there's going to be for some of these matches. I do know that they said parking is going to be like in the $200 range for those, but I assume again they'll have the shuttle. This guy says, man, I can't do Red Zone at 1 p.m. Coming on at 4. Yeah, some people. So there's a lot of Dolphins fans that can't do the 2-screen thing. I have, unfortunately, the Dolphins have not played the most entertaining brand of football recently. So, Red Zone does tend to come on in my house. I will do a split screen deal. But I gotta have Red Zone on Sundays, man. It's just it's necessary. Omar, I know you don't watch any of the other games. You don't care, but
no, I do watch some of the other games, but I'm not of the only time I get to experience Red Zone when it's at its greatness is basically on my bye weeks because I'm usually working during Red Zone hours. So this is part of my life. So I don't really. So what I would love is I would love if they aired Red Zone at the end of the night, like midnight, just air everything that happened on Red Zone, just re-air it so I could watch it.
So you want like the touchdown montage that they do at the end. That's all you want. You just want to see the touchdowns. I think this is an interesting experiment, by the way, Omar. I think you should try to do this. Like this should be a 6-part, docu-series that you do for the Herald here, like where you go to all these games as a fan, like just, go take the family as a fan and you go out and figure out what it actually costs to go to these games. Like it could be a very interesting experiment here that you could do.
Yeah, I've thought about that for like 20 years. But back in the day, it used to be like $100. Obviously, inflation has hit, so we got to raise the ante a little bit for $200 because I'm not sure you could get in the door anymore for a family of 4 for $200.
Yeah, I can't imagine. And by the way, I am curious, like if you're a Dolphins fan out there, what people are spending to go to these games. Are people still keeping their tickets at this point as it continues to get more and more expensive? I know that, the team that plays there on Saturdays plays a little better brand of football, and those games are a fraction of the
for
price of
one
the
season.
NFL
Let's not get into that.
Well, which team you think is going to be better this year? You're a football rocket scientist. What team you think is going to be better this year?
It's without a doubt going to be the Dolphins. I mean, without a doubt, it's going to be the Hurricanes.
Yeah, the Dolphins just roll right off the tongue there. That's you said that perfectly. All right, we got to take a pause here. Alex Donno is the voice of reason. He's going to join us in the 7:00 hour today. Dan Day is here with us. I'm Hollywood. If you'd like to reach us this morning, we'd love to hear from you. You can shoot us text on our text line at 305-567-0560. We have our YouTube stream up here, 104.3 WQAM. You can send us your messages on there as well. Let us know what you're thinking here this morning and what you're spending to go to these games. So Omar's going to do his little science experiment here. Guy says I have a family of 4. I will volunteer for Omar. Yeah, I'm just curious. I am curious, Omar. It's a great question. I know that there are good values out there. I know that there are not so many good values out there. I mean, look, think about what it costs to take a family of 4 to the movies these days.
Absolutely.
right? I have seen these movie tickets are damn near $20-something a pop. Like it's gotten nutty out there. And then last time we went to see a movie, they're selling these stupid commemorative popcorn buckets or whatever in the, at the concession stand. So I'm in for another $30 for a novelty popcorn bucket that we have to, so you're in for, I don't think you could see a movie with a family of four for under $100 now.
This is the life that we live.
I know. By the way, you want to know a good value out there? I'm big on bowling. Bowling is always a good. It tires the kids out. They gotta lift those heavy bowling balls. It tires them out, and it's a tremendous competitive sport as well. I do love good bowling, and you're in my area, Omar, over there. So maybe we'll meet at that Pines Bowling Alley over there, that little AMF bowling alley that they got, and I'll challenge you. And I'll beat you at yet another sport. So maybe we'll get you out there. All right, we got to take a pause. Shoot us those texts if you'd like. 305-567-0560. What a night in the NBA last night. We'll get to that. The Dan he mentioned the Marlins. We'll touch on them. They are home here for a few more. So we'll take a look at what the Marlins got going on. Maybe we'll get Omar out to a game here at some point. We got our big event coming up on Friday as well for the station. Omar, I don't know if anyone's let you know about the event, but I will let you know today, and I will give you the invite. Management, I guess, a little slow on getting you the invite there. So I will take care of you with that, and we'll have more to come here on QAM.
Do want to tell you about a couple of guys I'm good friends with, and I'm very passionate about talking about, Gary and Harvey. Yep, Harvey.
At Lexus of Kendall and Lexus of West Kendall, your home for the best price on luxury. Now featuring the all-new Lexus TX 3-row SUV in stock and on sale now. Call 305-KENDALL today.
Good on the roadways early this morning. If you're heading out the door, this traffic report is brought to you by the Casino at Dania Beach, Florida's Turnpike and northbound. Right before you approach Biscayne Drive, that traffic is stop and go in the area. Out of Broward, you're looking good. You're moving at posted speeds. That's traffic. I'm Aaliyah Escobar on FM 104.3, and you can listen to WQAM on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps.
This report is brought to you by the Casino at Dania Beach. Come rock with Quiet Riot at Stage 954 May 30th. The Casino at Dania Beach has it all. Enjoy new exciting promotions, the hottest slots, great shows, multiple dining options, live poker, and simulcast. Plus, new members can win up to $5,000 in free play. Join the fun at the Casino at Dania Beach.
Cool ways to listen to us.
Okay, I'd like to hear them then.
On FM 104.3 or on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps. Same great shows, same great games. Plus, you can use the rewind feature and listen to anything you missed. Go for it.
You're on the phone with your girlfriend. She's upset. She's going off about something.
Welcome back in here on QAM. This is Taylor Swift. Dan Day, you never know which direction Dan Day is going to go with the music.
They had the Met Gala last night. So,
they did have the Met Gala last night. I'm seeing all these celebrities wearing these bizarre outfits. You see Dwayne Wade and his buddy Jimmy Butler out there. They were together last night. I'm Hollywood. Omar Kelly is with us. Dan Day driving the program here. What is the Met Gala exactly? Is it like a ball? Is it like
Metropolitan? Yes, it's about Metropolitan Gala. It's about fashion and style. If you're fortunate enough to get the invite, you got to turn up in terms of the outfit you put on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta.
I don't know. I think I have style, Omar. I have enough
Right?
style. I don't need to go to the Met Gala and show it off. Come on now.
You've got that Adam Sandler chic going.
Yes, sir. You know it. Yeah. So I saw Jimmy Butler out there. I saw D Wade out there. D Wade keeping busy, still calling games, and he's got a lot going on. So good to see Dwayne Wade still out there. Someone said parking for Orange parking, $35 a game, resale $120, $150, or $200, depending on who you're playing. We also had somebody tell us, where is this text about the guy from Pittsburgh? There you go. $120 is cheap compared to the Steelers. I live in Pittsburgh, and gold lots are selling for $400 and $500. Man, and I know, like, I guess some of those places are tougher to get to games than others. I think as far as convenience goes, I can't imagine Dolphins Hard Rock Stadium. Like, I can't imagine a stadium being more convenient. They have shuttle services from the north and the south that you can take. I mean, to me, like, it's a relatively easy for what it is. Now, I'm not saying it's easy or cheap or any of that stuff, but for what it is, you know, you get that shuttle from the casino over there, Omar.
Absolutely.
To me is an easy way to get in and out.
You can go to Golden Glades, that parking
that
lot,
park and ride thing there over that shuttle train bus
can,
station. Yes.
Hard Rock. I think in a couple of years, maybe 2 or 3, especially, you know, for those who are Ubering is a horrible situation just about from any stadium. You know, I take Ubers to the game and from the game on the road, and no matter where I go, and I'm leaving late. So it's always a horrible situation to Uber to Uber from a game. But it's so easy and convenient to just hop on those buses, and they take you right there to the entrance.
We just got a comment on here from Shady Pines, says 4 season tickets are $9,000, including the members lounge and parking. Your thoughts, Omar? There's your $200. Your $200 ain't getting you far, I guess, with those seats.
I mean, you want to be a season ticket holder. You want to be part of the privileged. This privilege comes with a price.
Texter here, 407. Tons of people have dropped their season tickets after last year. I have Lower Bowl Corner. They've gone up 50% in 4 years. The only increase wasn't after last season. I saw a few people mention that they haven't had an increase this past season, which is like, I mean, that'd be kind of a slap in the face, I guess. But Yeah, man. Hey, the NFL has shown their greed knows no end, and they will continue to squeeze every dollar out of their fans until I don't know, Omar. That's a good question for you. You follow all this stuff, and I talk about it with Joe, and the NFL is trying to renegotiate their rights early with all these TV networks. And, we got games on 50 different streaming services, which has made the fan experience much more difficult. I was talking to Dan during the break, and he was like, yeah, I was watching the game, the late game, which I don't know when Dan Day sleeps. He's like nocturnal or something, but he was up last night watching the Spurs and the T-Wolves, which, by the way, the T-Wolves stole that game. Anthony Edwards comes back miraculously, has the same doctor as Aaron Rodgers, comes back, and he goes last night, and they're able to beat the Spurs. But Dan said that game was on Peacock, which is one service. You need that. You need Amazon Prime. You need Netflix. You need cable, right? Because you need your ESPNs and
unless you have the ESPN app,
or you can get the rabbit ears. I guess you could still throw rabbit ears. They sell those, by the way. They sell fancy rabbit ears now, though, like those antennas that get the. Now I bought a nice one. It still doesn't work. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know if that's me. I don't know. If I set it up incorrectly, but it still doesn't seem to work properly. But man, you need so many different things to watch these games. So they squeeze you that way, Omar. NFL Network, by the way, NFL Plus, if you want, the red zone. So they squeeze you that way. They're going to squeeze you at the games, and that's just going to be how the NFL goes, man.
Do you think that if we could, we would go back and keep everything a la carte on cable? Because remember, we were cut.
All together on cable.
Yeah.
Not now. Now it's a la carte, and it's funny because it sounded good initially, right? Like, oh, you know what? You're paying for the shopping network and the food network and all these things you don't watch.
Remember to cut the cord.
Yeah, sure. And it did sound great in the beginning. Oh, I only have to pay for the channels I watch. That's lovely. No, man, I think everyone would kill for the $99. Remember they had the $99 bundle where you got your home phone, your internet, and your cable all included for $100. I remember
the days where I could want to watch an NBA playoff game and I just go to TBS or TNT. And now I don't even know where.
Well, they're all over the place. They're on Peacock, they're on Prime, they're on ESPN. It's tough, man. It is definitely gotten tough out there for the fan, and it's such a good question that you brought up this morning, because Omar started it with, what can a family afford to do for $200 in the sports world out there? And yeah, there's not a lot. There is not a lot out there, and that's why things like the Marlins, you want to do Canes games, Canes basketball, Canes baseball,
yeah, I think
Canes football, by the way,
football. I think I get some distance for $200 for a Canes football game.
Yeah, I think just about everything minus the, you want to go to a Heat game and enjoy downtown Miami and all that. That's going to be an expensive night out. You want to go to a Panther game. The Panthers have been very good lately. It's not the cheap product that it used to be. And you know what? I think a lot of people would rather that. I think most people, Omar, would rather spend more money to go see a winning product than pay bottom prices to see a bottom product. I think the money feels better spending the money when the team is good, doesn't it?
Sure. If you say so. I remember the days when you could go to Burger King and get a University of Miami basketball or football ticket for free. They were just handing them out to you just so you can go to the games.
Yeah, and the Panthers, when I was in high school down here, the Panthers used to do BOGO on season tickets. So yeah, times have changed, my friend. Times have changed. Alex Donno, by the way, is going to join. Speaking of all this Kane stuff, Alex Donno is going to join us here coming up in the 7:00 hour. We'll talk some Hurricanes with him. Our friend Heat Colt says Peacock is a subscription. That's the current model. Tease the content on the free channel, then switch it over to a subscription app. And he's right, by the way, because they did this, and ESPN does this well. ESPN will put, like, they had WrestleMania on a couple weeks ago, and they'll put the first hour of the WrestleMania program on the regular ESPN app. And then should you want to continue, like any person probably would. Like if you're watching the first hour, chances are you want to watch the next couple of hours. They will force you to switch over to. Are you aware of this, by the way? ESPN Unlimited. Have you heard of that?
No.
That is not ESPN Plus. That is its own service. It is called ESPN Unlimited. And I want to say it's $30 a month, Dan. But you need that if you want to watch the wrestling events. I don't even know what else is on there. I just know that we had to get it for wrestling. And then I tried to watch F1 on Sunday, and that's on the Apple TV app. So that one was behind another paywall. Yeah.
Hold on. So you couldn't watch the F1 Miami race unless you had the Apple app?
F1 is on Apple. They signed a deal with Apple. Same thing with the soccer. The soccer is on the Apple TV app.
My father had to have me install the Apple onto his home television. Yes. It's challenging us all. It is challenging us all.
And then and this is so Victor, it was good morning, Vic, who's up listening. We talked about this story. We talked about the story on Friday and then again yesterday during the headlines, because I don't know if you saw this, but Duke signed a deal with Amazon Prime to air off the top of my head, just I think it was 3 games, and they were like marquee games. It was like Michigan at the Garden. It was someone else who was really good at another big venue, and then in Vegas, I think they were playing someone else. Anyway, so they signed this deal with Amazon Prime to get some of their games, and their trade-off was going to be like ESPN was going to get Duke for some of their exclusive tournaments. You ever watch those tournaments they play around Thanksgiving? ESPN owns all of them. It's all ESPN stuff, right? So one of the games against Michigan, and Fox owns the rights to the Big Ten basketball games, obviously. And so they were not pleased, apparently. So there's going to be another battle of the networks here to find out who, eventually, or who owns these games, who gets the rights. I don't know. Fox, so I guess we'll get some money out of it.
Doesn't Duke have to have an ACC deal too?
I don't know, man. They do, but the highest bidder, Omar, whoever the highest bidder is, gets what they want.
Are we at the point now where college teams are selling their franchise to private businesses? Because I heard that was coming. Yes,
that did happen. I believe in the Big 12. I think they took on an investment firm or a hedge fund or whatever you call those things. Yes, I believe that is probably the future as to where we're heading. Omar Kelly is here with us this morning. Alex Donno is going to be with us. Dan Day here as well. So we loaded it up for you here on this. What is today? Tuesday, Cinco de Mayo. Dan reminds me, the first thing he says to me as I walk in the door, he says, happy Cinco de Mayo. So I know Dan's got his plans all set tonight. I'm going to a baseball game tonight down at
tacos for you?
No, well, maybe, but I'm going to a baseball game down at Barry tonight, so we got that going on. We're bringing the baseball team out there, the youth team, my son's team. So we're doing that tonight. Hopefully our weather will hold for us here. A lot of rain yesterday. Hopefully that'll hold. But
I heard the forecast on QAM say it's going to be rain all day, Dan Day.
You heard Dan Day's forecast? Yeah, but you can only trust Dan Day's forecast so much, right? But Dan, you got plans for tonight? What do you got going on? You always have something good going on. I probably should have ran this by you before I asked you publicly here, but what do we got going on here?
I got an all-day party. I'm going to be at Duffy's Inn Plantation basically from about 3:30, 4 o'clock till they close at 11 o'clock, just playing music and drink specials and taco specials and all the other good stuff.
That sounds fantastic, actually. And I have yet to make it out there to see Dan Day. He's so close by. Tonight might be the night. So maybe so you're going to be there from 3:30 to 11:30?
3:30 to 11.
Man, that is fantastic.
Yeah, come on by. All right, I'm always there on Thursday and Friday too, so you got plenty of opportunities.
This is a big holiday for Dan Day. So Cinco de Mayo, happy Cinco de Mayo to everyone.
Happy drinking day, Dan.
Yeah, if you're drinking and enjoying yourself today, that's fun. We got our text coming in here on the YouTube stream. We got our text at the regular text line 305-567-0560. And when we come back here, Omar, I will let you know about our big event that we do have coming up on Friday. So we'd love to see everyone out there in person. We're gonna have a lot of fun out there. We'll let you know about that. And we'll continue our conversation. Alex Donno is going to join us again in the 7 o'clock hour. Jump into some Canes talk with him as well as we continue on here on this Tuesday morning on QAM.
Loctite Impact Windows, Doors, and Roofing time. Yeah.
Hollywood, Dan Day, Omar Kelly along here with you. And Alex Donno will join us in about 10 minutes from now. Omar, before we get to Donno, I know we have a lot of our Dolphins fans out there. We got OTAs, mini camps, and such starting up very soon here. Omar, if we can, why don't we get your thoughts on everything coming up here? Maybe you can set the table for the Dolphins fans and let them know what to expect here as we continue through this month of May. And Omar, you need to unmute yourself. All right, we're screwed. So we can't get there. We go. All right, Omar.
For the record, I don't.
Great technology.
Yes. This weekend they have the Dolphins rookie camp. This is basically rookies and tryout players, considering they do have tryout camps for undrafted players. They get to come to the facility. They get to learn, get their playbook, get measured, get tested, get on a weight program, get on a nutrition program. This is an indoctrination for the rookies. A lot of times the veterans will stay there and they'll watch, but basically rookies running through drills. I don't know how much we're going to learn, but the Dolphins will be on the field, and they do have OTA practices this week, so they're on the field now working. It's not necessarily football-related drills, I believe. I believe those are coming in terms of like 7-on-7s. They can do those things, but 11-on-11s, no. I think next week is when they graduate to the 11-on-11 stages.
Okay, so not a whole lot, but as far as these rookies go, Omar, I mean, clearly this class needs to be a class of impact players. Right away, you made a face there, but all right, go ahead. What's it not register with that?
Name the last few Dolphins rookies that had.
I'm looking forward, man. I'm not going back to Chris Greer's F-ups. We're not going backwards. We're not going back in time here. We got to live for today, Omar, and look at the future where we sit now. New people. We're trying not to go backwards.
How many do you need to be impact players?
A lot, considering they're most of the roster at this point.
Can you define what an impact player is?
That's an even better question. Somebody who can play, someone who actually physically can be on the field.
Oh, that's just a contributor. That's just a starter. Yeah,
I'm good with contributor. Fine. I won't say impact player. Contributor.
Hey, all 13 of them should become contributors. I mean, I don't necessarily know the options. Like, who are these players competing against? Who is Kyle Lewis competing against? Probably, I don't even remember his name. The line.
That's a good sign.
Yeah, KJ
Willie Gay into the depth chart. All right.
They just cut 7 players, and I don't necessarily know why, but I get it. Isaiah Johnson was not healthy, but Isaiah Johnson's a hell of a gunner. Obviously he's not healthy, so you whack a guy when he's rehabbing. Hopefully he continue to rehab inside the facility. Derek McClendon is one of my favorite pass rushers. He got whacked yesterday. A young, talented player who really showed out in training camp, showed out in the exhibition season. Didn't make the 53-man roster, but spent all year on the practice squad. Should have probably been playing last year when they traded away Jalen Phillips, but didn't get those opportunities for multitudes of reasons. I don't know what went into their decision to cut these players, long snapper and, punter, extra punter, but, they decided to make 7 roster spots. So it'll be interesting to see what comes of that.
What are your expectations for what the practices will look like, right? I mean, fans are going to get to go, they'll go in training camp and
training camp.
There was a lot of, and again, we're not looking back, but practices were unusual, I think, over the last few years.
Why were they unusual?
What can fans, you didn't sit up there with the old guys, Omar, and listen to them just lose their minds over everything. But what is practice going to look like for fans that come out this fall?
I have no idea because I've never watched a Jeff Hafley practice yet. So, but I can tell you for the last 20 years, practices have looked relatively the same. I think the only difference is maybe early in the Tony Sperano era, there was a little bit more physicality to it, but those were because the rules allowed it. In 2011, the new CBA deal, the old CBA contract limited the amount of contact practices that you could have. I mean, I remember when I was an intern, they'd go 2 times a day, and that was just unreal, the Jimmy Johnson era. The football doesn't operate like that anymore. So I think you'll see a lot of young people, a lot of minimum guys, which is basically a term that I've used that I heard John Eric Sullivan use on your show. A lot of minimum guys competing against rookies and made the best man play, or the guy that the organization wants to invest in, which happens to be rookie, made the best rookie play.
All right, Omar. Well, we will be looking forward to seeing your stuff in the Herald here coming up in the coming days and weeks here. Yeah, man. Just entertain us. Give us something. We just want something, man. Just a little taste.
I think one of the guys I'm going to be writing about is Kevin Coleman Jr., who's played at 4 colleges in 4 years. He's probably the receiver that I think can make the most immediate impact. So
you got a good opportunity here to reach the people, Omar, because there's not a lot else going on right now. Things have gotten very quiet out here. We're usually, we're getting ready to the Panthers getting out of the first round. We start looking at our next opponent here.
Yeah, Heat's used to playing in the first round. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the Heat are usually done by about now, at least the past handful of years. But yeah, man, this is usually a busier time. It's so this is all you, man. Rookie mini camp. That people are just standing by waiting to read your hot takes on whatever it is you see out there.
They got to be hot. Can they be lukewarm? Because
well, Omar, we expect hot takes from you. We expect controversial takes from you.
Okay.
That's what we've come to expect from you over the years. All right, Omar, I got to tell you about our event here. We got WQAM's Whiskey, Stars, and Cigars presented by Edmore Sawgrass Auto Mall. Returns at this Friday here at Tabacone Cigars and Spirits Plantation Walk starting at 6 p.m. Davion Mitchell from the Heat, Bernie, the Heat Dancers will be there. Enjoy a nice Scotch whiskey from Johnny Walker and a smooth cigar from Jewish State. The event is free. Just stop by. All the info right now, WQAM.com. You have to be 21 or up to attend. See, 6 o'clock Friday, Tabacone Cigars and Spirits at Plantation Walk. And again, our event is presented by Ed Morse, Sawgrass Auto Mall, 4 brands, 1 location, your local Cadillac, Buick, GMC, and Chevy dealers. So that is the event coming up on Friday. We would love to see everyone out there. I see that our dear friend Alex Donno has just jumped on the stream, so we're going to take a pause and talk some Canes. If you have any questions, by the way, we already got a Donno question in here. You can text that in at 305-567-0560, and we will relay those over to Donno. So we'll take a pause. 7 o'clock hour is coming up next.
Don't go away, because Baptist Health South Florida
Powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
In Miami, we go to the beach for a little solcito, and when we want a low price, we know you pay less with your Pricito de Mayo at Doral Hyundai. The Spurs missed a 3 at the buzzer, lost game 1 to the Timberwolves 104-102. Knicks, they trounced the 76ers 139-98 in game 1 of their series. Tonight at 7, it's Cavs Pistons, and at 8:30, Lakers Thunder. Carolina Hurricanes took a 2-0 series lead, defeating the Philadelphia Flyers in overtime 3-2. The Vegas Golden Knights are up 1-0 in their series, with the Anaheim Ducks winning 3-1. Tonight, one game, 8 o'clock, between Minnesota Wild and the Colorado Avalanche. Jansen Junk gave up 1 home run to Bryce Harper in the third, and that was enough for the Phillies to defeat the Marlins 1-0. The Orioles are in town for a 3-game series starting tonight at 6:40, and the Canes baseball team, they host FIU tonight at 6. On to weather. This report is brought to you by Tornado Roofing and Contracting, replacing roofs, roof repairs, maintenance, and hurricane impact windows and doors. Visit tornadoroofing.com. Going to be overcast throughout the day with a slight chance of rain and temperatures in the low 80s. I am Dan Day. Now back to the Joe Rose Show here on 104.3 FM, WQAM.
All right, welcome back in here on QAM on this Tuesday morning. It is Cinco de Mayo, and we got a full house here, man. Look at this. I'm Hollywood. Omar Kelly is with us, Dan Day, and now Alex Donno, the host of the Locked On Canes podcast. A must listen for all of our Canes fans out there. Donno, good morning, my friend. How you doing?
Good morning to all. It's great to see you, Hollywood, Omar, Dan Day. I know I'm in for a good Tuesday morning, and there's plenty going on, man, between the Dolphins, the Canes, all this stuff, man. There's never a dull moment.
Go ahead, Omar.
We were having this conversation earlier, and I know you're a family guy, Donno. If I give a family of $200 and tell them you have to spend it on a sporting event for a day with your family, how far does that dollar go at the University of Miami football game? $200.
Oh gosh, not far at all, Omar. When you think about, does this include parking? Like, is parking? Do I have to pay for parking?
No. We're driving to Golden Glades or the Hard Rock Casino and taking the bus. We're doing this on a cheap budget.
I got you. We're doing it on a budget.
Everybody is inconvenienced.
Yeah, I mean, once you start, my kid loves to get like ice cream or Dippin' Dots in addition to the food he's going to eat, which everything's overpriced in there. I'll probably want to drink a couple of adult beverages out there. Yeah, that $200 is not going very far.
For adult beverages on $200?
I don't think so. You might be able to get like one shot of something. But I will tell you, I think where you can stretch, like if you have a $200 budget, like the best family probably sporting event would be Canes baseball. It's like the most economical. I don't think anything else compares to that in this town. You can get more bang for your buck at a Canes baseball game.
Yeah, we put the Canes in there. The only other one would be the Marlins, and the Marlins have really good deals for families. You can go to a Marlins game cheaper than you can go to a movie. We were talking about movies.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Movie, like some guy was like yelling at me like, oh, it's great, the sound and the IMAX screens and all this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I get it. I've been to a movie theater,
but go to a movies on a date. You think you're getting off going to a movies, and then you realize you're at one of those Cinebistros where there's the menu, there's the alcohol, there's the food items. Next thing you know, you're down 150, just like a regular date.
Yeah,
so I got to tell you though,
super expensive now.
Oh, they're
especially
brutal.
When you go to if you go to an IMAX or a 3D, and then if you didn't look carefully before you booked it, maybe you didn't. Oh my gosh, I'm in the IMAX 3D and it's $40 a ticket. It's crazy.
Have you guys been to the thing where so they have this at Dania Point at I think it's a Regal over there. The seats like move,
yes,
and they shoot like water at you and. It was cool, man. Like it was a good experience. You can only do it for like certain movies. Like we went and saw Tron, the new Tron movie, the Disney one. And the seats were like, they do all those like, light cycle runs or whatever they do. And the seats were moving and shaking and they shoot water at you. It was very cool.
Sorry, if my seat shoots water at me, I'm very uncomfortable.
I mean, it's not a date situation.
Nobody should shoot any liquids at me.
All right, fair enough. Dan, can we clip that for? This guy says it's the 4D theaters and costs $75.
Yeah,
They don't charge $75.
No, yeah,
per
not
seat.
that much. No.
I mean, I draw the line at like 20. I can't. I don't think they were more than that.
No,
but
I think
don't
it's
know.
more than 20. The 4D. I'm pretty sure.
I went to a matinee showing, so I don't know.
Okay.
But
What is it? What is a 4D experience like?
I just told you the seats move.
Yeah.
Okay,
and-
It's like you're on a simulator. We saw the movie, that Pixar movie Hoppers. We saw that at the 4D.
That's cool. I mean, it's.
I've seen
not something
Hoppers.
I would do every time, but.
Why would what's happen? Oh, what? Okay, so when the animals are at the dam, I guess.
When the animals are hopping around, the seats hop with them, and when they're hopping in the river, they shoot water in your face.
No, they do not.
They
Are
do.
you serious?
I'm dead serious.
People want water shot at them. People want liquid shot at them.
No, it's like the like they do at Disney World, where you do on those like simulators, and they try to make it all realistic. But I thought it was cool. It was a little gimmicky, but I did think it was cool. Anyway, we have Alex Donno with us, and Donno, we have been asked about recruiting here and how the Canes look, any hopeful incoming recruits. To add to that, is this team better than last year's team? Now let's first jump into recruiting if we can, and I have to start with this. First of all, what is the recruiting calendar currently at the moment looking like? Because I know this thing seems to change constantly. I know there was a post-spring transfer portal. I don't know if there is anymore. You fill us in on what's going on, Donno.
Yeah, there is no more post-spring transfer portal, as you know, which I think overall it's a good thing. It's not the best thing for someone like me who makes college football content, because the more transfer portals, the more to talk about, the more chaos and everything. So basically, once you get through spring football, your roster is your roster. What you have is what you're going to have heading into fall camp. So it's a little bit less chaos, a little bit more stability. But yeah, in terms of high school recruiting, we're entering a super busy time, Hollywood and Omar, because near the end of this month, it's already May, which is crazy to say it out loud, is when players start making official visits. This is like official visit season. Like throughout the year, you can make an unofficial visit, which is technically on your own dime. It's not like that organized. When you get down there, you come down, you take in practice and stuff. But when the official visits happen, which start in this month in May into June, you have like an organized program, right? You can go out to dinner with coaches. You have the whole pitch and the spiel that they give you around the facilities and stuff. So that's a really important time. And so usually you'll start to see in later this month and then into June and then early July is when you'll start to see really big verbal commitments, like really important players start to make their decisions. And oftentimes you'll even have players who will announce their verbal commitment even before they take official visits. And there's a few big players that we expect to come off the board here that Miami's involved in within the next couple of weeks. So this coming Friday, there's a 4-star defensive tackle that Miami's very much in it for. His name, there's a lot of really tough names in this class. Ezekiel Ayangbile from Langham Creek High School. I hope so.
I assume you did.
He's from Houston, Texas. It's primarily Miami, I think LSU and Virginia Tech that are in for him. Miami seems to be like near the top of his trend, so hopefully they can land this defensive tackle on Friday. The following Friday, there's another big defensive tackle, David Falaruncho, who's a 5-star out of Chicago, who's going to be choosing between Miami, Notre Dame, and Texas Tech. So that's a big one. And then every Miami fan wants to know about these offensive linemen, guys. Unfortunately, this top local player from St. Thomas Aquinas, Mark Matthews, 5-star offensive tackle, he seems to really want to go to Texas A&M is the buzz, which is it's going to disappoint a lot of Miami fans. But it's like sometimes, Omar, kids just want to leave. Like sometimes they don't always want to stay in South Florida.
I would never recommend to a South Florida kid. I know this is going to sound harsh to actually go to college in South Florida, because you got to go away. You got to experience life. You got to see.
Mute his mic.
I didn't even know that trees changed colors till I left South Florida.
Yeah, you've never been to College Station, Texas, Omar. Whew.
Yeah, College Station.
I didn't even know trees changed colors, because they're always green down here. So
what's wrong with them always being green? I don't see anything wrong.
You
with
say that like it's a bad thing.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that we don't experience fall. Fall is very pretty.
This is why Omar's banned from Hard Rock Stadium on days other than Sundays. He's allowed on site. He bring his toxicity to the Dolphins. They whatever they want, but he stays away.
Is Omar the reason why we can't host the Super Bowl?
Yeah, Omar's the reason we can't have it. We'll get all the national championship games here and playoff semifinals and all that, but they don't want Omar anywhere near the Super Bowl.
Hey, why is it that Hard Rock Stadium can host a national championship but can't host a Super Bowl?
Because doesn't make any sense. I mean, don't you think, Omar, is the NFL trying to shake the Dolphins down to build certain upgrades? That's all this is, right? Anytime you're like, your facility is no longer approved for a Super Bowl, but if you invest $500 million in this, that, and the other, you're eligible again.
Yeah.
What else can they upgrade over there, though? Like, what more is there to do?
I guess they could build a parking structure, but I don't even like.
No parking structures, man. I those garages are a nightmare to get out of.
That's a good point.
I don't understand this whole I get people want to tailgate, but man, it's gotten very easy to get to that stadium. You use those buses that they got all over the place.
Yeah.
It's gotten easy, but anyway, we have Alex Donno, we have Omar Kelly with us here. Omar, I got to cut you off because we are going to go to break. Save your questions, save your thoughts.
Yeah.
Well, save your thoughts. It's rare that a thought pops in your head, so save it.
Write it down.
You deserve that, by the way, for what you've said already this morning about kids wanting to stay home. So you deserve that. You get all the slander that's coming your way. 305-567-0560. Please send whatever you have to Omar Kelly this morning, and punish him for his comments. We got a lot of other stuff to get to. We haven't even mentioned the NBA playoffs. There were some wild games last night. We got the NHL playoffs going on. So a lot of stuff going on there. But we will continue this conversation here when we come back with Alex Donno here on WQAM.
Hey, Melissa, Chill Zone, thank you so much.
This report is brought to you by the Casino at Dania Beach. Come rock with Quiet Riot at Stage 954 May 30th. The Casino at Dania Beach has it all. Enjoy new, exciting promotions, the hottest slots, great shows, multiple dining options, live poker, and simulcast. Plus, new members can win up to $5,000 in free play. Join the fun at the Casino at Dania Beach.
We've made it easy to find us. Listen to WQAM on FM 1043 or on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
Wow, that was so easy.
All of our shows are there live or on demand. Plus, there's the cool rewind feature where you can listen to any part of any show you might have missed. Anytime.
Oh, na, na, what's my name? Oh, na, na, what's my name?
Hey, welcome back in here on WQAM. Hollywood, Omar Kelly, Alex Donno is with us. Alex Donno, the host of the Locked On Canes and Locked On ACC podcast. His co-host, Kenton Gibbs, will join us in about 15 minutes from now. We'll go over the ACC. The ACC kickoff is like around the corner here, Donno. I think we're like a little over 2 months away now from getting back to Charlotte and getting ready to kick things off, man. And that event in Charlotte, it has gotten stranger, the right word, Donno? Stranger by the year here. So now you've been able to see the NIL progression because you see the players have gone from, they'll wear the modest suit, a handful of years ago. And now it's like, all right, we got a lot of jewelry going, a lot of watches going. You could tell the money is flowing. And Bill Belichick's running around over there somewhere. So that was
the weird thing last year.
Oh, was that weird?
Like Belichick came in from like a different entrance from any other coach. He didn't walk in with his players. Like it was bizarre. It's like nothing I've seen there.
The most bizarre thing about that whole deal is they didn't get one player drafted after they said that they were going to be, they're the NFL team of college and all this. And, Michael Lombardi's running the show over there. They didn't get one player drafted.
Takes a while to lay the foundation for a program.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't, though. That's the thing, right? And that
What's your example?
Okay.
No, it doesn't.
That answer's fine 5 years
Kurt
ago.
Signetti at Indiana. It took him like 3 minutes to lay a foundation.
I mean, that answer's fine 5 years ago, Omar. Like, I get that. And by the way, North Carolina wasn't like a program that had no success for 20 years or something. Right. North Carolina had been a pretty good program. They have a lot of NFL players from the past handful of seasons. So they did
well in the Butch Davis era. They did well in the Mac Brown era.
They did. And so it was a little bit like
some Larry Fedora success in there as well, a little bit.
I mean, you look at the situation like down here, like Mario inherited, and Mario was talking about how they had like what, a 7th round pick or something when he first started here, and now they're the one of the highest sought after players in the first round out of Miami. So that, talk about laying a foundation. Like Miami was in pretty rough shape when Mario arrived, and he had to do a lot of work here to get this thing right. But yeah, Omar, look, if you inherit a decent enough program, like you're expected to win today. Like you think Lane Kiffin with LSU, like he's expected to win a national championship now. Like they're not going to say, oh, you get 4 years to bring your recruiting classes
didn't do it.
Yeah, well, they're going to expect these guys. Yeah, they're going to expect these guys. I mean, you agree, right, Donald? Like you have to win pretty quickly in this day and age. And look at the Hurricanes basketball team.
Oh yeah,
well, look at that turnaround.
The thing about Belichick is like he's been, I think, rightly criticized for just not doing the little things necessary to succeed as a college head coach. It's like when you're supposed to be out recruiting, he's like taking long weekends in Nantucket. Like he's not really investing his time and energy into the parts of that job that are important. What's that?
Nantucket might have a great prospect out there.
I'm sure they do, right? That's where you go find the blue chippers. It's Cape Cod, Nantucket.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, Donno, because you talked about this is heavy recruiting for high school season. I'm not even sure who's recruiting high school prospects anymore, even though I know there's some top stars down here in South Florida. Our Chiefs, Miami Carroll City Chiefs, we seem to be loading up and ready.
Nick Lanier transferred over there, 5-star receiver who's committed to Miami.
Yes. Yeah. We're loading up over there at Carroll City, by the way.
Yeah.
We shall be reckoned with this season. Getting back to the glory days. But how much money do these players? How much does it take financially for a commitment? Like, am I waiting for my 4-year, $5 million deal, or what's the offer that's going to get me to say I'm locked in with your program?
Yeah, I mean, it's wildly different. There's like a lot more ranges to it. I mean, if you're like a stud left tackle, you're going to be commanding 7 figures. Like, it could be anywhere between like 1 to 2 million, and I think that's the per year number.
Per year, yeah.
And it's like, again, this is all estimations, because all this stuff is like, the secondhand behind the scenes info. There was now Miami recently landed a very good running back, Ty Keys, but prior to landing Ty Keys, they missed out on another really good running back, Myson Johnson Cook, who went to Auburn. And what we heard was, for Miami to have landed that running back, it would have required 7 figures to land that specific running back.
Are we not paying running back 7 figures now? What's going on?
Like,
Are running backs only making $700,000 this season?
Yes. So it's like the quarterbacks, I would say quarterbacks, and it's kind of similar to the NFL, like the guys you would prioritize most, like great quarterbacks, offensive tackles, certain elite defensive linemen, DBs, or like the highest.
College programs now have a salary cap where they're trying to, disperse.
Well, and they kind of do. I mean, you have like a revenue sharing that comes like officially from the school. That's like around a 22 million, and that's not just for football. The 22 million is like athletic department wide. But then you also throw in third party NIL deals. So like, there's supposedly some rosters out there, like you think about some of the big, like the oil money and some of the SEC teams that are spending 40+ million on a football roster, allegedly.
But you see, the problem is that Omar's used to covering a team that just hands out massive contracts to anyone who asks,
except for this year.
So that's the problem. Well, yeah, there's new sheriff in town, Omar. But speaking of which, and we are going to get to Kenton Gibbs from Locked On ACC, and we'll talk some more college football momentarily. Where do we stand on some of those contracts, Omar? What is the timeline for some of these things to start to take shape here? Because we're getting into the territory of disgruntled players, I assume, here at right. I mean, guys are starting to make their way back, and it's we're starting to get to the NFL calendar here, OTAs and mini camps and voluntary, not voluntary, and
this is
when are we starting to get guys paid here?
This is the point in the year where it's about business, and basically do not expect a top tier premier player to be participating in your OTAs if his business hasn't been taken care of. Give you a perfect example. Zach Sealer last year. Zach Sealer would show up to OTAs, but he was not practicing.
Holding in, right? They call it a hold
yes,
in.
It's called the hold in. And that those things happen quietly. We've heard reports that Devon Achane did show up to practice OTAs in the second week, but Dolphins don't have any money right now to get a deal done until June 1st, when they get $20 million in cap relief from the Bradley Chubb cut. So they don't even have the money to sign their rookie class at this present moment. They got to wait till June 1st. Yeah, they're.
Well, what happens with Achane? I think that's the name that people really care about right now.
I'm not sure Achane gets a history. If history is correct, I'm not sure Achane gets a deal done until he holds in at training camp, until he basically tells them, I'm not going to participate in the exhibition season. And Achane shouldn't take a single snap until he gets his deal done, because that's how you pressure organizations. And
why though? Why does it have to get to that point though? Like, if you know you're going to pay the guy, they've already basically come out.
Do they know they're going to pay the guy? They've technically you got
to take what these guys say for face value, right? Like they have said that Achane will be part of this team. You know how valuable he is, all that good stuff. Like, what are we doing? Like, why does it need to get to a point where it becomes a little contest between these two sides to see who blinks first?
Depends on how much you want to pay and commit to Achane. It's the same situation and we had with Tua Tagovailoa, where you're between a rock and a hard place. With Achane, you've technically, if you use the franchise tag on him next year, you've technically got him locked up for 2 years at $20 million with the threat of the franchise tag. So do you want to give him $35 million in guaranteed money for 3 years when you've already got him locked up for 2 years at 20. You know, he's a running back. The risk is on his end because he'd have to make it healthy for the next 2 years in order to get that big cash out. And the risk is on him. So ultimately, will you accept 30 instead of 35? You know, this is where the pressure points start to be added to players.
The Dolphins badly need him, though. I mean, they badly need him in the lineup.
Yeah, I think he lost his leverage when the draft was over. I don't think they were going to trade him, but you know, right now everybody who needs a back has got a back. They've got a young back that they can claim they want to invest in, and really, what's the market for Devon Achane right now? So the Dolphins have him pretty much locked up. The only thing is, are they going to take care of him? Are they going to financially reward him for being an elite player in this league? And you know, considering how fans have cried about Zach Sealer's deal and Tua Tagovailoa's deal, and you know the extensions you gave Jalen Ramsey and you gave Waddle, I'm not sure that the fan base is going to be clamoring, "Oh, Devon Achane needs to be taken care of."
It's interesting. I think clearly he needs to be, but you know, what do I know? All right, we're going to talk some college football when we come back here. Kenton Gibbs, who's Donno's co-host on the Locked On ACC podcast. He is going to join us next as we continue on here on QIM.
Hey, right now I want to tell you about something else that's very, very important, man, your mental health. We've been talking
you. That's traffic. I'm Aliyah Escobar on FM 104.3, and you can listen to WQAM on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps.
This report is brought to you by the Casino at Dania Beach. Come rock with Quiet Riot at Stage 954 May 30th. The Casino at Dania Beach has it all. Enjoy new, exciting promotions, the hottest slots, great shows, multiple dining options, live poker, and simulcast. Plus, new members can win up to $5,000 in free play. Join the fun at the Casino at Dania Beach.
We've got plenty of ways for you to listen to your favorite shows and favorite teams on WQAM.
How is that, if I may ask?
We're at FM 104.3, or you can listen to WQAM on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps. Check it out now.
Oh, welcome back in here on WQAM. Before we get back to it, just want to let you know WQAM's Whiskey Stars and Cigars presented by Edmore Sawgrass Auto Mall returns this Friday. Talk Sports Unfiltered with our on-air host at Tabacone Cigars and Spirits at Plantation Walk starting at 6 o'clock. We do have some special guests coming by. The Heat's Davion Mitchell, Bernie, and the Heat Dancers. They will be there too. Enjoy a nice Scotch whiskey from Johnny Walker and a smooth cigar from Drew Estate. The event is free. Just stop by. Get all the info now at WQAM.com. You must be 21 or older. See you at 6 o'clock this Friday, at Tabacone Cigars and Spirits at Plantation Walk. Whiskey Stars and Cigars is presented by Edmore Sawgrass Auto Mall. 4 brands, 1 location, your local Cadillac, Buick, GMC, and Chevy dealer. And our staff does a very nice job putting that event together. So we are looking forward to that on Friday. Alex Donno is here with us. I'm Hollywood. Dan Day here as well. And Omar is taking a breather. He's been put in the penalty box here as he's upset the Canes fan base. We don't need his slanderous takes here right now, Donno.
Yeah,
So
he was saying
we
that none of the South Florida players should stay and play at Miami was what he was saying. You know what? I think Ruben Bain seemed pretty happy for the last 3 years. I don't think he regrets his decision. Malachi Toney seems to be pretty happy with the decision he made.
So
no
you're
thanks
saying
to Omar.
You're saying it went well for Mr. Bain, who played in a national championship game and then was what was it, 15th? I believe he was selected to the
and really should have been higher. He should have been higher if not for a coordinated media agenda against him. He would have gone higher than 15.
I'll tell you, though, and I know Dolphins fans are bummed that it wasn't Ruben Bain with the pick, and I don't want to go down that road again, but he's in a pretty good spot. Like, Tampa Bay is a good organization. They're a pretty good team, so I'm happy for Ruben, and I think he'll have a chance to be successful right off the bat. And I know, again, people wanted him here. I don't know what this Dolphins thing is going to look like this season. There's definitely a chance that it doesn't go well. Speaking, Donno, of the penalty box, I wanted to play something for you here. So, Dan, do we have this ready? Okay. So, Donno, we don't do a ton of like outside of the Panthers. We obviously don't do a lot of hockey, but I wanted to share this with you. So the Toronto Maple Leafs just hired a new general manager. I don't know if you're even aware of this, Donno.
No.
This is the press guy. The guy's name is John Chayka. All right. He was originally hired by the Coyotes. This is 10 years ago. And he was 26 at the time, the youngest GM in the NHL in the history of the league. And he had some issues there. It says NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman cited conduct detrimental to the league and the game. He breached his obligation to the club by pursuing opportunities with other clubs while still under contract with Arizona. Anyway, so there's a few issues here in the past, right? So Toronto brings him in as their GM. Now, listen, this is from the introductory press conference. Mind you, he is sitting right there. This guy, like they're talking about him like he's not there. Listen to this clip here.
Steve Simmons, Toronto Sun, for Keith. You talk about the due diligence that you did on John prior to hiring him and now hiring him. In the past, say 3 to 4 days, I have been in contact with about 20 people who work in the National Hockey League, many of whom are prominent names that we would all know. And of the 20 people I spoke to, one was supportive of John's hiring, and the other 19 thought it was a sham, to be perfectly honest. Words were used like con artist, liar, salesman. How did you come to a different conclusion than I was able to come to in a very short time?
You must have talked to different people.
That's it? Because I'm telling you, the hockey world today is astounded by this announcement.
Okay.
And your response to that?
Is we've conducted due diligence, and it was deep due diligence. It was a thorough process, and I'm quite happy with where we've landed.
My gosh. I mean, the guy, Donno, the guy is sitting right there, sitting next to the guy.
That Toronto media goes hard.
I mean, my God, man, I thought like that was their thing in Canada, that they're nice, but good Lord.
Not when it comes to hockey or the Maple Leafs. Like that's in my years of occasionally covering hockey, I've noticed that in Toronto, they think the Maple Leafs are relevant even though they haven't won a cup in how many decades, and they act as if, their what doesn't stink up there. So they're nice about everything except their hockey.
So that was Keith Pelly, who was the president and the CEO over there, and he just got, what a question. And it was the guy sitting right there, like, hey, that guy sitting next to you. I spoke to 20 people, and 19 said he's a con artist.
That's
I mean, man, that is about as rough of a press conference as you will ever see. And I wanted to play that for you because it's very rare that you hear things that extreme, especially with the guy being like right there.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty wild there, Donno.
Oh my gosh. I mean, yeah, okay. Can you have there have been some years with like some of the coaches hired by the Dolphins. Can you imagine if the press conferences like that have taken place like after they hired Adam Gase or something?
Right. I guess that guy's not scared of losing his access over there, but man, that was a ferocious question. We have not touched a ton on this, Donno, but we had some basketball last night. I see that Kenton has jumped on with us. So Kenton, we'll have Kenton jump on in the 8 o'clock hour with us. So we'll get to Kenton right when we hit the top of the hour at 8 o'clock. I just wanted to touch, Donno, really quickly on some of the headlines from last night. And Anthony Edwards makes his way back into the lineup for the Timberwolves, and they beat the Spurs. It's such an intriguing series here because the Spurs team, I just think is really well constructed. But Anthony Edwards gets back into the lineup last night, and they stunned the Spurs 104-102. Edwards had 18 points. He did come off the bench. Victor Wembanyama had is this the Hassan Whiteside triple-double, right?
With blocks.
11 points, 15 rebounds, and 12 blocks. That's the old Hassan Whiteside triple-double. So he had one of those last night. And then the Knicks have won their last two playoff games by a total of 90 points. They smashed the Sixers last night, 137-98. The Knicks are tough to read for me, Donno, because I feel like they are the best team that is left. Yeah. I also feel that the Sixers are going to I thought the Sixers were going to give them a war here. I really did think this was going to be a very close series. And I thought Philly actually had a chance to win this series. Now, obviously, it's just game one, and there's plenty more to go here. But I find this Sixers team to be pretty intriguing here. They are a tough team with Embiid. If he's able to stay on the floor, he's as tough as anyone. You got Paul George over there, Tyrese Maxey, and that rookie VJ Edgecombe. So they do have a nice team. But Donno, I don't know who you like coming out of the East. I guess. Are we just going to go with the winner of that series? Does that seem like, who it's going to be at this point?
Yeah, I believe so. As much as it pains me to even give the Knicks a compliment, because I don't want to, activate those New Yorkers down here who are going to get very obnoxious if that team is finally for real after all the frauds they put out on the floor over the years. But yeah, I think whoever comes out from that series looks like the cream of the crop in the Eastern Conference, unfortunately. And hopefully it's the Sixers.
How tough would it be if the Knicks, like I'm picturing like Richie, who is like a huge Knicks fan, Richie and Vlad, and like just people that you don't want to have to rub it in your face. If the Knicks did win a championship. Now, I don't think anyone's beaten OKC.
Oh yeah, no,
I don't know that anyone's going to be able to get past those guys.
Yeah.
But man, it's the NBA playoffs have actually been a lot more intriguing than I figured they would have been here through the first round. Usually, you just get a lot of blowouts and in the first round, but there have been some very interesting games here thus far. And then the Marlins fell 1-0 to the Phillies. They dropped 3 or 4 there, so the Marlins coming up. Little short there, and then Dan, we got an upcoming series here with the Orioles in town. So I know Dan Day will get us fully prepped here on his update. Let us know what's going on here in our world of sports. And when we come back, as promised, Kenton Gibbs from the Locked On ACC podcast, we're going to really jump into some college football and see what's going on in the ACC. And Donno, that schedule for the Hurricanes, I'll tell you, man, I don't want to do. I hate doing this. But it looks, I'm not going to say, I won't use the word easy. I'll say manageable.
Well, I mean, I'll say there's only one game on the entire schedule that you look and say you're an underdog in that game, and that's Notre Dame on the road, November 7th. Every other game on the schedule, you're a favorite, and in most cases, a double-digit favorite. That's the way it lines up this year, which means you better finally win the ACC. This is the year.
Yeah, it certainly feels like this has to be the year for them. And we didn't really get to this a whole lot earlier, but which team is going to be better? This year's Canes team, last year's Canes team. I know a lot of people are kind of back and forth on that one. I think that's an interesting question as well. The Canes lost a lot of talent in the draft, but that's a good problem to have when you're losing guys in the first round of the NFL draft. So we will talk some Canes. We'll talk some ACC and college football when we come back to kick off the 8:00 hour on WQAM.
It's the new year. Boy, I'll tell you what, South Florida Chevy
This is the legendary WQAM-FM and HD1 Miramar, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. WQAM Miami, an Odyssey sports station. The home of Joe Rose with Hollywood, Tobin and Leroy, and Hot Crowder and Solana. South Florida sports lives here.
Powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
In Miami, we go to the beach for a little solcito, and when it comes to a low price, we know you pay less with your Pricito de Mayo at Doral Hyundai. Tonight, 2 NBA games, 7 o'clock, Cavs Pistons, 8:30, Lakers Thunder. 1 NHL game, 8 o'clock, between the Minnesota Wild and the Colorado Avalanche. The Orioles are in town to take on the Marlins. 3-game set starting tonight at 6:40. And ESPN has named Hurricanes defensive end Hayden Lowe as one of the team's under-the-radar players for 2026. The 5-star from Los Angeles missed most of last season due to injury. This weather report is brought to you by Tornado Roofing and Contracting, replacing roofs, roof repairs, maintenance, and hurricane impact windows and doors. Visit tornadoroofing.com. Overcast with temperatures in the high 80s. I am Dan Day. Now back to the Joe Rose Show here on 104.3 FM, WQAM.
Well, welcome back in here on this Tuesday morning on QAM Hollywood. Alex Donno, Dan Day along here with you. And we are going to head out to the Toyota of Hollywood hotline. Shop over 2,000 Toyotas on sale at one location, Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan, toyotaofhollywood.com. He is Alex Donno's co-host on the Locked On ACC podcast. Kenton Gibbs is with us here this morning. Ken, how are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm great as always, man. I'm surprised y'all aren't already drinking down there in Miami for Cinco de Mayo. I'm surprised that we got, some sober fellas on there, but I'm good. I'm happy to be here.
We start at 10 a.m., KG.
Oh, 10 a.m. Okay, we got a couple hours left. So everybody on the road, watch out. If you see Donno behind the wheel, you see Joe behind the wheel. Look out. It might get a little dicey out there. Get your Ubers. Drink responsibly, everybody.
Yes, sir. Ken, I want to jump right into this ACC stuff with you here. And we were talking about North Carolina earlier and the fact that they did not have anyone drafted. Have they made any improvements to the roster over there? Are they continuing to dump money into that football program? What is going on at North Carolina?
In the words of Dave Chappelle, you hate to see it. But even more than that, you love to see it. No, but in all seriousness, what's going on in North Carolina is a coach that, last time we saw him when he was the head coach of the Patriots, it looked like the game passed him by in every single respect. In terms of his ability to, out scout other GMs, which he was the functioning GM in terms of Belichick with the Patriots, he lost his fastball there. In terms of schematically, what he did schematically in the early parts of his career was nothing short of wizardry. When you think about, I'm sure that many Miami fans are happy to say, hey, we still have more Super Bowl wins than the Bills. The reason that's the case is because Bill Belichick put on master classes in those Super Bowls, and he was able to do that because he was forward-thinking. He was innovative. He was one of the first minds to not only say, we're going to go to a 3-4 to have more athletes on the field, but also when playing the K-gun offense, saying, you know what? We're going to start the game and dime. How about it? Yeah, we know Thurman Thomas is good and all that, but we're going to start the game there. So I'm setting the scene here for the fact that he's not that anymore. Lawrence Taylor ain't walking through that door. It's just not happening, and he has not done anything meaningful to show, hey, I'm going to make this team a lot better. I'm going to be willing to do the little things that it takes to win. The pursuit of greatness in terms of high-level college football is immense, and it is constant. You cannot just throw money at it. It does not work that way. You cannot just throw a name at it. It does not work that way. We've seen multiple teams try it, and multiple teams fail with that approach. You need a coach that is your coach has to have some type of superpower. When you think about high level football and what happens there, the team takes on the coach's personality, and his personality is not that right now of a winner. That's just the reality of what we're looking at. Now, has the roster gotten better from last year from a talent standpoint? I would say marginally, yes. Marginally, they've done a good job in high school recruiting. They've done they got Mr. Football, a fellow cast technician, and CJ Sadler down there, Mr. Football from Michigan, and CJ Sadler down there. I love everybody that wears my green and white. It's going to hurt me to root for him as an individual because, I'm an NC State guy. But I think that he's just in a situation where the game has passed him by. And, when you think about North Carolina over the past 14 to 16 months, you've known them more for the off-field shenanigans than the on-field production.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's not a good thing. And we don't expect, North Carolina this season to, contend for the ACC barring some crazy surprise. But who do you think will? Because obviously Kenton down here in Miami, everyone is expecting or at least wondering, is this the year that Miami finally wins the ACC? Because they seem to have the team to do it, and the rest of the ACC doesn't look all that threatening on paper. But who do you think will be the top challenges for the Canes this year in terms of finally getting that conference crown?
The Canes' top challenges for this year in terms of a conference crown is going to be the same teams it was last year. The biggest threat to them is in Coral Gables. They're their own biggest threat. Last year, you said something toward the end of that last segment that really resonated with me. You said Miami's only going to be underdogs in one game next year in terms of playing, Notre Dame. Quick question, Donno. In the regular season this year, how many games was, or in this past season, the regular season, how many games were Miami underdogs in?
I think it was maybe one. I think it was Notre Dame also last year. I think that might have been the only one.
And did they win the ACC last year?
No.
Huh. Interesting how that works out. I know that Miami fans aren't going to want to hear this. I know. I know that this is not, what people want to hear me say on this show. But the reality is this: Miami has to find a way to get out of their own way. Mario Cristobal and I had a very short, very brief public tiff about this at ACC Media Days when I said, how does Miami get over that can't get rightitis? Because they've had the talent. He's a wonderful coach by all accounts. I have seen nothing from him that makes me believe that he is anything less than a winner, that he's less than the type of sicko that it takes to win at this level of college football. He's shown that. Because when you think about, Donna and I talked about this yesterday, when you think about national championship winning coaches, all of them are just odd guys. They're just guys that you're like, I'm not sure if I want to go out for beers with you. Mario Cristobal fits that profile very well, right? But the reality is, at some point in time, this Canes team has to get out of their own way. Football does not reward getting close in the same way that basketball does. If a team is one of the last two in basketball, you get a banner for the Sweet 16, banner for the Elite Eight, banner for the Final Four. Football doesn't work that way. Football, you either take home the whole enchilada or we give you a nice little, hey, here's the Camping World Sports Bowl deal right there. That's it. That's all you get. And the reality of what we've seen from this team is they've always, or not always, but as of recent history, they have by and large been the more talented team. If you look at last year, was Louisville more talented than Miami?
No.
Okay, well, you look at SMU. Were they more talented than Miami?
No.
So Miami has to get out of Miami's way before anything else happens here. Before we get to anybody else, the Canes have to find a way to lock in and do what it takes every single week to do the small details that let their talent shine over their opponents. But again, the Canes are a prohibitive favorite for a reason. They've got all the talent in the world down there.
Yeah, and that's why it was that run felt so surreal for Miami, right? And you lose in the middle of the season, you lose a couple of those middling ACC teams, the ones that have been, you've been stubbing your toe on for the better part of 20 years. And then you go and you sneak into the playoff. You end up getting into the playoff, and you go and you beat, a handful of the best teams the country has to offer. So yeah. It was like a surreal run for Miami, right? I mean, you're running through, you had to go at Texas A&M, Ohio State, Ole Miss, and then you come within a play or two of beating Indiana in the national championship game. I just think if you look at like how good Miami was at the end of that season, And now I all you hear from coach and everyone over there is that they didn't win anything. We're still hungry. We're coming out at this like, we got a hunger still. And I don't see why Miami slips up in those games again. Like, wasn't that the wake up call last season when you slipped up in those two?
I mean, you would believe that, but again, how long has this been the story with Miami? How many times have we said
20-some years
man,
since they entered the conference? Yeah.
On paper, this is go back to the year before this, right? If you go back to the year before Carson Beck, you go to the Cam Ward year. Donno, how many of those games was Miami underdogs in? I believe they were underdogs against maybe Florida. I think that was just about
they
it.
were definitely underdogs against Florida. Not more than a couple. And then, even some of the games that they won that year took Herculean comebacks by Ward. So it was a fun year. Not a lot of defense was played, but they shouldn't have lost to Syracuse at the end, that's for sure.
They shouldn't have lost to Syracuse, and the other team they lost to was Georgia Tech. So again, this is not an indictment of, I don't think Miami can do it. I don't think Miami ever has a shot. But the reality is, every time we crown a team in the ACC before the season starts, especially, I know people aren't going to hear this because we got rid of divisions. There's something about those coastal teams. When we had Atlantic teams running the ACC, we had some order around this thing. We had some proper, Robert rules of order going on. People speak when spoken to. You know your turn. You know the rules. The minute we let a coastal team take the reins, all of a sudden we've got Duke football winning ACC championships before Miami.
With 5 losses.
We've got Virginia football in there. What? And mind you, if you would have told somebody 2 to 3 years ago, yeah, a coach by the name of Tony is going to be in the ACC championship soon from Virginia, they said, of course, Tony Bennett's going to be there. Yeah, he's going to be right there. No, he's going to be retired. And there's going to be Virginia and Duke in there. So again, Miami has to focus on Miami. Miami doesn't need to look to the right, look to the left. There's a great picture of Michael Phelps that I look at all the time where it's him and a bunch of other guys in the pool swimming. He is looking straight ahead, going to the finish line, and everybody else has got their eyes on him. Winners focus on the finish line and doing what they've got to do to get there, focus on themselves and worry about, all right, what's my struggle looking like? How am I doing the best I can to get to where I got to go? And everybody else looks at the winners. But right now, I don't know what Miami has done to be in that vein. And if I look at when we have crowned these teams over the past couple of years, I know that this is an Atlantic team, but look at last year when we say, Clemson's going to be the first 16-0. Clemson's going to be the first 16-0. And then, of course, we got the matchup that we all expected coming into the season, Clemson, Penn State in the postseason. It just happened to be at the Fenway Bowl where they were doing ballpark Franks at the bowl event and whatnot. So it's just a situation where Miami has to focus on Miami because nobody in the conference is said to be nearly as talented as they are. But that was the same case last year. Even 2 years ago, there were teams that were supposed to be there, which is fine. I get that. And they didn't even make an appearance in the ACC championship.
Now, I wanted to ask you about, Darian Mensah, because, you and I covering the entire conference, we were very aware of Mensah, what he did at Duke last year. And he did win an ACC championship, like you mentioned. What stands out to you about Mensah? Not only positives, but any negatives, anything you think he has to work on? And what kind of an impact can Darian Mensah have in Coral Gables this year?
Darian Mensah can have a massive, massive impact. And when you ask what stands out about him as a player, I look at a guy who, the overused term can make every throw. He really can. He really can. It's a difficult, arduous task to watch his film and find a throw where you're like, there's 10 other quarterbacks in America who can make that. Darian Mensah is not one of them. It's very hard to do that. He's mobile enough. He's mobile enough to hurt you on the ground if you don't pay attention to his legs in a meaningful way. But that's not where I think he serves his best utility in terms of being a full-time runner. He has a little bit of that Pat Mahomes in him that if he can get loose in the backfield while guys are still doing their thing downfield, that's when he's really dangerous. That's when you start clutching your pearls and said, oh God, I hope my DB's plaster. I hope that they find a man immediately. So Darian Mintz is a guy, a lot of arm strength, good at working out of structure, but he's also good at working in structure, right? When you think about what Cam Ward was, he was a guy that sometimes you would just say, please play on time, Cam. Please, just take the dump off. Just take it. We're happy with that. We're happy with the 5-yard dump off. We'll live for another down. When you think about Carson Beck, outside of the notorious Beck balls, right? The couple of balls per game where it's like, hey, you do know we're wearing orange this game, right? You do know we're wearing white this game, right? Don't throw it to those other guys. Those aren't our guys, Outside of notorious Beck ball, he was phenomenal at playing in structure. But if you asked him to create, if you asked him to get a little creative and improvise, and if it's jazz music, do a little bit of scatting, he was not able to do that, right? When you look at Darian Mintz, he combines the best of those two worlds. He really does. He may not have the athletic upside of a Cam Ward. He may not have the arm strength of a Cam Ward. But when you look at Darian Mintz and what he does, he has the timing, he has the touch. He knows how to layer the ball in there perfectly when it's time for a bullet, when it's time for that touch pass, when it's time for that true, let's throw some air into that thing and throw a rainbow shot. He has that all to his game. The only problem is he leans a little bit more to the Cam Ward side than the Carson Beck side. And mind you, Cam Ward, number 1 overall pick, expected to revive the Titans. So this isn't saying like, oh, this is a terrible thing and you can't win like this. He sometimes plays a little bit of hero ball. Now, he did that at Duke, which it's Duke football. You're a Ferrari amongst Volvos. Of course, sometimes you're going to have to play a little hero ball. But those habits that are developed are sometimes hard to break out of a quarterback when he thinks, I can make this work. Oh, yeah, so what that both of their DNs got free and they sent the Mike linebacker on the blitz that my running back just refused to pick up for whatever reason, but I can make this work. Instead of saying, you know what, I'm going to take this sack and live to fight another down. One of his problems last year was turnovers early in the season because he kept thinking, I've got to win this game by myself. I've got no running game. I've got no this. I've got no that. And granted, I don't know the young man personally, so I don't know what was going through his mind. But it's clear if you understand football and you watch him play, a lot of things that he was doing in terms of how long he was holding the ball just flatly illogical if you're working from the standpoint of what is a quarterback actually taught. So, this is a situation where he has all the tools to be a really, really good borderline great player for Miami. The problem is he knows he's really good, borderline great, and sometimes tries to lean on that talent a bit too much.
All right, Ken, I have one more for you here. I know you and Donno discussed this on the Locked On ACC podcast, and this private equity deal in college sports here. And I know the Big 12 is dabbling in this, and the Big 10, by the way, just handed out almost $80 million per school as their media rights just went through the roof again. How is this going to work possibly for the ACC? Is this something that they're interested in? Are they going to go down this road here at some point?
Let me ask you this. Has private equity ever gotten into anything in your life and made it exponentially better?
Not Red
Seriously.
Lobster, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Red Lobster is probably the most glaring example. But is there anything that you guys can think of where you're like, man, this thing was struggling. Private equity got its hooks into it. Next thing you know, it was phenomenal once again. Anything? Anything,
I don't
fellas?
think so.
Okay. You know why? Because the bill will always come due. These private equity groups aren't giving away tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars for kicks and giggles. They're not giving away because they like you. They're not giving away because you're funny. And, oh, there's pretty girls down there in Miami, so we're going to give them free money. And we're sure that they're going to return our investment somehow. Oh, yeah, they've got great food up there in Syracuse. We're going to give them free money, and they're going to find a way to return it. We're not worried about it. The reality is I don't think that in any meaningful way the ACC should do anything with private equity. The fictional private equity company that I pitched when this conversation first came up was quite literally Red Herring Equities. And Donno, just a quick question. What was the name of the company, the private equity company that ended up giving the Big 12 an infusion of cash?
That was Red Bird, Captain.
Red
So
Bird.
you were very close.
I feel like John Cena when on Transformers when he was like, "Are these things not called Decepticons? Why are we not paying attention here? These companies are literally telling you, yes, we are the red herring. We will give you the money up front. You will think to yourself, oh yeah, we could use this extra 30 million. Yeah, we need that for facilities or for NIL or for whatever reason or for revenue sharing or whatever. We need it. But how are you going to pay it back? And when it comes back, you're not going to take 30 million and give them back 30. That's not how that works. So how are you going to turn a profit? What is going to get cut, gutted, made of lower quality or whatever the case may be in order to ensure that you can pay back these loans? And that's the part that is deeply troublesome for me. I get it. We're in an arms race right now, and everybody wants the biggest, baddest guns, be it the players or the facilities or the whatever. Everybody wants to have the biggest and best of armaments. But that's just not how the world works. And sometimes some of these means through which people go to accomplish the short-term goal of having the best armaments today means that your soldiers may not be able to eat tomorrow. And that's the problem of what I'm looking at with private equity, where I'm like, what other parts of the university will it touch? What other parts of athletics will it touch? I understand that football and basketball, by and large, subsidize the rest of the university. I played football while I was at NC State. I played football for 17 years of my life. I understand that more people came to my high school games than go to a lot of the non-revenue sports, events. I get that. I understand that. I'm not, making light of that. But there still has to be a way to ensure that at some level, this thing does not go off the rails and you're not giving the reins to nefarious third parties in search of, Miami is only one corner away. We got to replace that Bang guy. And a good edge rush is going to cost you a couple million. And we're a little short. The coffer's looking a little dry. Let's take this money from Red Herring and we'll be all right. I don't think that's the way.
Wow, college football changing every day. And Kenton, thank you for the time. Appreciate it. You can find Kenton Gibbs on the Locked On ACC podcast alongside, of course, our friend Alex Donno here. Ken, thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Glad to be here, fellas. Y'all take it easy.
Thanks, man.
All right. Omar Kelly is going to jump back in with us here when we come back. Get to some Dolphin stuff with Omar. And, boy, Donno, that gives you a lot to chew over there. And
yeah.
I wonder, this Darian Mensah thing is so interesting. We'll talk about him too when we come back as well. But I wonder how good he is going to be here for Miami. I think this could be a Heisman type situation. And I just look at the guys around him, right? And the fact
he had an unbelievable spring. I know you saw it as well, Hollywood.
He really did.
He looks so comfortable in Miami's offense.
I'm not trying to jump the gun. I know it's like, it's May and whatever, but it just feels like he's in line for a monster campaign, doesn't it? We'll discuss when we come back here on QIM.
Right now, I want to talk to you before we go to break
Boulevard West and Northwest 55th Avenue has 2 right lanes blocked. Emergency crews are at the scene. Also seeing some heavy delays this morning over on the Don Shula Expressway. Traveling northbound from Killian Parkway, you're tapping your brakes in the area, and that traffic stacking up this morning along Florida's Turnpike and northbound. You're slow from Biscayne Drive to the Don Shula Expressway. That's traffic. I'm Amelia Escobar on FM 104.3, and you can listen to WQAM on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn app.
This report is brought to you by the Casino at Dania Beach. Come rock with Quiet Riot at Stage 954 May 30th. The Casino at Dania Beach has it all. Enjoy new exciting promotions, the hottest slots, great shows, multiple dining options, live poker, and simulcast. Plus, new members can win up to $5,000 in free play. Join the fun at the Casino at Dania Beach.
Cool ways to listen to us.
Okay, I'd like to hear them then.
On FM 104.3 or on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps. Same great shows, same great games. Plus, you can use the rewind feature and listen to anything you missed. Go for it.
Welcome back in on WQAM. It is Cinco de Mayo. Happy Cinco de Mayo to all who celebrate, including Dan Day. Dan's got a packed schedule today, man. Dan's getting after it. Dan, I always like to promote your appearances. By the way, Omar, Kelly, Donno, I'm Hollywood, all here with you this morning. Dan, if you don't mind, can you please just promote your appearance again today?
Yeah, just basically all day Duffy's and Plantation. Going to try to get there around 3:30 and close the place down 11, maybe a little bit after that. They're going to have some drink and food specials. Main thing is music, and you can come talk sports with me uncensored because we're not on the radio.
That's the way to do it.
Listen,
That's the best.
As much as I would like to go and celebrate Cinco de Mayo with Dan Day, let me ask you gentlemen a question. Exactly what are we celebrating?
I always thought it was Mexican independence.
No.
But that's not what it is, right? Somebody corrected me on that.
Say, I'm glad you said that, not me, Donno. That's what I was going to say too. But
I'll give you deep real quick. So Mexico defeated France at the Battle of Puebla. Napoleon III came in and they defeated him with pitchforks and very little weaponry. The only problem is the next day, France came back with a whole lot of guns and leveled the Puebla area.
Mm-hmm.
But for one day.
Now Dan does trivia, right? Dan is a trivia host. So my follow-up question to you, Dan Day, is like, let's say they put you on Jeopardy. All right, regular Jeopardy, not sports Jeopardy.
Oh, come on. He deserves sports Jeopardy.
Let's say, I don't know how many questions do they well, they're answers, right? They give you the answer, you give the question, right? But let's say they give, I don't know, what is it, 50 per round? You get regular Jeopardy, then double Jeopardy, then final Jeopardy. Let's say there's 100 questions in Jeopardy. How many can you answer correctly on a given night?
Oh, man, like 10, something like that.
That's pretty good. 10 is good. Now, if there's not a sports category, I'm probably good for none.
I'm sure there are a lot of
any of these things.
There are a lot of 100 points that you can knock down. Hundreds are a little easier.
Yeah, they're easier. But what about you?
Always
Omar?
I'm always surprised at how many random useless facts that I know, which tend to come up sometimes in Jeopardy. And then sometimes the sports ones are not as easy as I'd think because it's fringe sport, like Olympic type stuff that I don't follow as closely.
Yeah,
it's
but
not
at least
always
you have
mainstream stuff.
Though.
I'm threatened by the sports Jeopardy that they're coming up with, and I think it's Disney, or which is ESPN, which is ABC, which is whatever, Viacom. I don't know what the hell that is, but yeah, the sports Jeopardy. I'm a little threatened by it.
Well, what percentage are you getting, Omar? Like if let's again say there's 100 questions, what percentage would you be answering correctly?
I think I'm like Dan. I probably would get about 10%. I'm not answering any final Jeopardy questions. Like you can forget about that.
So you do work for a newspaper, so you may actually read. I'm not a big reader of just random stuff. Like I read my sports stuff, and that's pretty much the
You
extent
read
of
what
my
the
reading.
You read what the Twitter tells you to read.
I do read what Twitter tells me to read. I'm a slave to Twitter, unfortunately, and the
And
algorithms.
it's usually just rage
Yes.
bait. They just put stuff in your timeline that they know is going to piss you off. It's amazing how that.
Well,
algo
this
works.
happened to me yesterday. Like I'm going through Twitter and I'm reading this stuff and I'm starting to get all riled up and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I don't follow any of these idiots. And I look and I see that it's the For You category instead of the
I stopped fighting
one.
For You. I
How do you
stopped
get
fighting.
away from that? I don't want to ever be on that ever again. I just want sports on my feed. I don't want to know what's going on anywhere. I want to be oblivious to everything.
Yeah, you got to
Isn't that
hit
good?
the following. There should be like a default where you follow. You're able to select it. Hey, just only show me the following. But yes, the For You brings up the randomness and
I mean,
things
look,
that are going to trigger you.
I went to book a flight the other day. I know that things are a disaster out there. I know things are not great. So that's all you need to do. Go if you need to know how bad things are going at the moment, just go try to book a flight. You got one airline that just went completely under in the middle of the night. And I know gas costs, I guess jet fuel costs are a little high right now. So it's tough out there, man. It's tough, but I like my feed to just stay sports. I don't want to know about it.
Yeah.
You
I
don't
want
want
to know. I
the
like to
gas
find out about it
prices
when
are
I go to book a
$7?
flight.
You don't want to know the gas prices are $7 in California right now?
Well, actually, I don't care about gas prices at all, really, except for the jet fuel situation. But I drive an EV now.
Oh, you
Omar.
drive electric. Oh, that's smart.
So
yeah.
the gas prices, that's your problem, man.
Yeah.
That's old news for me. I don't really care about that. I do care about the Heisman odds, though, to get off of that conversation for a second.
Yeah.
Here you go, Donno and Omar. You got CJ Carr plus 750, Arch Manning at plus 750, Dante Moore plus 1100, Julian Sand plus 1100. Trinidad Chambliss at plus 1100, and then Darian Mensah up there with Jeremiah Smith at plus 1200. I gotta think he is going to put up some big numbers, number one, and they are going to win a lot of games, number two. Those are usually good combinations to winning a Heisman Trophy. Now, I don't know if he wins it. I'm guessing Donno. If I had to guess, they probably would rather have like an Arch Manning win it. Arch Manning, they're trying to make that guy like the face of
Arch
college
Manning is the
football,
biggest scam. He's the biggest
he
scam
really
in
is.
sports right now.
He really is. I'm with you on that one.
And so, like, you list out all those quarterbacks, and I think the two best, in my opinion, and this is not necessarily how I project them as pros. I just think like the two best in college right now, I think, are Trinidad Chambliss and possibly Darian Mensah, and maybe CJ Carr as well. Although he doesn't have the same running game to rely on this year because they lost both of their stud backs to the end. So CJ Carr is going to have to do a little more this year. Maybe that'll work out fine for him. But listen, I think you have Darian Mensah now who put up godly numbers at Duke last year and probably won't necessarily have to put up as high numbers because his team is going to be more balanced this year. But you give Darian Mensah double, triple the amount of weapons at Miami that he had at Duke last year. Like he had Cooper Barkate was his top receiver last year. Cooper Barkate is barely top 3 at Miami because he's not Malachi Toney. He might be the second best receiver, Barkate at Miami, but there's other guys, Joshua Moore, Dre Jacobs, Cam Vaughn, that are also really good in that receiving core. He's going to have one of the deepest running back rooms in college football this year with Mark Fletcher at the front of that rotation. I think the offensive line is going to be really good this year, even though they lost a bunch of guys from last season. So it's like you put Darian Mensah, who had a lot of success at, an average football team last year, and you put him with the weapons he's got now at Miami. I think he's going to be in that Heisman race till the end.
Hey, that average football team played in the ACC championship, and
they did. They also lost 5 games. I mean, it was and they won a 7-team tiebreaker against. I don't think they beat any of the other teams that were in that tiebreaker with them. So I mean, it was what it was.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of you got elite receivers, you got elite running backs, and I just think he's going to put up monster numbers, and they're going to win a lot of games. So again, usually a recipe for success there. All right, we got to take a pause. When we come back, Omar is going to discuss with us the roles and expectations for the draft class leading into rookie camp, which begins on Friday. So Omar will have some actual football to talk about coming up on Friday. We will preview that with Omar Kelly when we come back. We'll continue on here on QAM.
good time if you're a truck person and you're looking
at the casino at Dania Beach. The Palmetto southbound, right before you approach Northwest 36th Street, has that right lane blocked. Stop and go traffic continues along the Palmetto westbound. You're slow from Northwest 47th Avenue to 67th Avenue and out of Broward. Heavy backup along I-595 westbound as you approach Davie Road. That's traffic. I'm Aaliyah Escobar on FM 104.3, and you can listen to WQAM on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn app.
Your favorite shows, the games of your favorite South Florida teams. We've got them
right here on the Q, baby.
Catch us on FM 104.3 or listen to WQAM on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps. Don't miss a thing.
All right, welcome back in here on WQAM as we put a close here to the 8 o'clock hour. I am Hollywood Donno and Omar Kelly with us this morning. Dan Day as well. All right, Omar, we got rookie camp beginning on Friday in Miami Gardens, so we'll officially get some football to talk about. And you talked about that rookie class, Omar, and expectations and what we can expect to see from these guys. Take us through what you're expecting for Friday.
I'm expecting the draftees to participate, but keep in mind their participation will probably be limited to positional drills. The last thing you want to do is put them out there with a defensive lineman on a tryout who's trying to impress the coaching staff and thinks the best thing to do to impress the coaching staff is to abuse Caden Proctor and show him up and show him how much you're an NFL impactful player. So that's part of the reason why a lot of teams, including Robert Saleh, hold out their draftees from participating in rookie camp just because it's dangerous. So this is about getting the rookies and the draftees indoctrinated in what you do, from your nutrition to your fitness to stretching properly to working on their diet, to introducing them to the psychologist. So if they have somebody that they need to talk to teaching them where they're going to live, or, in a temporary housing during training camp. That's what this process is about, getting them the playbook, teaching them how to log into their accounts so they can watch video on their iPad. So I don't think we're going to see any major discoveries. You're just going to see Dolphins rookies in Dolphins uniforms and maybe holding on to or wearing a helmet. In terms of the expectations for the rookie class, obviously the standard for first rounders, and in fact, probably the first 3 rounders, according to John Eric Sullivan, is that they would become starters, if not immediate, their rookie season. So Caden Proctor, right now, it looks like, which you guys broke on the Joe Rose show last week, he's going to be beginning his process as the left guard. That makes sense to me from this standpoint. While he would not have been the player that I had drafted if I envisioned having a starting guard, it does make sense to have him work there because, 1, he worked on the left side as a left tackle. 2, he's probably going to serve as the primary backup at left tackle. So working there at right guard does make sense. Keep him on that side. And 3, he's probably has a position versatility to, if something happened to, let's say, Austin Jackson, he can slide over there to the right tackle spot. So I think he's going to be trained to do a lot of things, but right now the projection is he's going to be the left guard. And obviously you move Jonah Savani to the right guard spot, which is his more natural position, or which is the position he played in college. I'm not necessarily certain I would say anything is a natural position for Jonah. In terms of the first round pick, Chris Johnson, he's projected, and I think you guys broke that as well. They view him as the nickel cornerback. Nickels play about 700 snaps a season. But he'll be the starter when they're in the base package. He'll be out there on the boundary. When they go to the nickel package, which defends 3 wide receivers, he'd move inside and somebody else, let's say Storm Duck, or JJ, Brents, Juju Brents. They would go out to the boundary and then he'd come inside. Then we've got Jacob Rodriguez, their second round pick. Jacob Rodriguez more than likely will be challenging Tyrell Dotson for the starting spot. And this is something that I thought about. I'm not necessarily certain it's going to be very easy for an undrafted rookie to replace the green dot player, which is the guy who serves as the quarterback of the defense. Now, the one thing that I can think of, I can't argue to you and give you a reason why all three of them shouldn't be in your starting lineup. Jacob Rodriguez on the inside, Tyrell Dotson, and Jordan Brooks on the outside as probably weak side linebackers. Who am I subbing off the field to keep Jacob Rodriguez on, especially if Chop Robinson is working as a defensive lineman and has figured out how to set the edge? Chop is already on the field. Zach is already on the field. Maybe we've got one of the defensive tackles, Jordan Phillips, Zeke Biggers. Why do I always forget the first round pick's name? I can't remember his name right now. And then you got to figure out who else mans the other end spot, which is maybe Uche or Adobo. So there's going to be some, there's room for three linebackers. So I wouldn't rule out Jacob Rodriguez starting. Then we get to the tight end, Kazmarek. He is going to be the Julian Hill, the inline tight end who's responsible for doing the dirty work, the blocking, the new Durham Smite. And that's pretty much a starting role. You play about 600 snaps in that role. And then you get to the wide receivers where you've got Caleb Douglas, you've got Chris Bell, who is probably going to begin the year on the PUP. I'm not necessarily certain he's going to be cleared to practice until maybe we start the regular season. And Kevin Coleman Jr., who to me, he's such a seamless, efficient, effective slot receiver. I have a hard time telling you that he's not going to be able to beat out a Malik Washington or Taj Washington for that starting role. And I honestly think Malik is probably going to be working out on the boundary with Tutu Atwell and with the kid that they got from Dallas. So I definitely think that slot spot, which he's played for all 4 years for 4 different colleges, is going to be his for the taking. And it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
All right, Omar, I got a follow-up question to that I want to hit you with in the 9 o'clock hour. And I also, Omar, Donno, I think we should hit Omar with that sound we played earlier. There was a press conference that went off the rails. One of the most bizarre questions, and I know you didn't see it, Omar, because I know you don't cover hockey, but this applies to everyone here. So I want to play this for you when we come back as well. But I do have a follow-up question for you on this draft class coming in on Friday to begin rookie mini camp. So a lot of stuff to get to with the Dolphins. We'll continue on. Donno, Omar, Kelly, Hollywood, Dan Day with you on this Tuesday morning here on QAM.
Right now, though, I want to tell you about Atlantic Men's Clinic, ED and Low T.
Injured? Dial pound law.
Officers Miami.
This is WQAM FM and HD1 Miramar, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. WQAM AM Miami, an Odyssey sports station. The home of the five-time national champion Miami Hurricanes, the back-to-back Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers, the three-time NBA champion Miami Heat, Miami Hurricanes basketball, and now the new home of the two-time World Series winner Miami Marlins.
Powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
In Miami, we go to the beach for a little solcito, and when we want a low price, we know you pay less with your Pricito de Mayo at Doral Hyundai. The Spurs missed a 3 at the buzzer, lost game 1 to the Timberwolves, 104-102. The Knicks boat race the 76ers, 139-98. They take a 1-0 series lead. Tonight at 7, Caps Pistons at 8:30. Lakers Thunder. Carolina Hurricanes took a 2-0 series lead over the Philadelphia Flyers, while the Vegas Golden Knights took a 1-0 series lead against the Anaheim Ducks. Tonight, one game at 8 between the Minnesota Wild and the Colorado Avalanche. Marlins are hosting the Orioles the next 3 days. It starts tonight at 6:40 Lone Depot Park. Miami baseball team, they host FIU tonight at 6, and the NHL draft lottery is tonight at 7. The Panthers have a 6% chance at landing the top pick. This weather report is brought to you by Tornado Roofing and Contracting, replacing roofs, roof repairs, maintenance, and hurricane impact windows and doors. Visit tornadoroofing.com. Overcast skies with temperatures in the mid-80s today. I am Dan Day. Now back to the Joe Rose Show here on 104.3 FM WQAM.
Welcome back in here on QAM. Hope everyone's having a great start to their Tuesday morning on this Cinco de Mayo. Got big plans like Dan Day. I don't have any big plans to go out tonight, Dan. We're going to the Barry baseball game down the street from us here, where they're hosting our baseball team. So that's what I'm doing tonight. Those are my big plans. Omar, you got anything big going on?
Those are big plans. Those are many humans that are going to a sporting event to be entertained and feel like they're treated like celebrities. They're going to a Barry baseball game.
They're excited for, yes, they are very excited for. I just meant I didn't have any Cinco de Mayo plans necessarily anymore. And I don't think they're going to be serving Coronas out there. So
my daughter is having her first recital on Friday.
Oh, nice.
Cool. Dance recital. So yesterday I had to give her up to a dance mom. So imagine having to hand your 5-year-old over for 3 hours to a dance mom to dress her and change her in 3 different outfits and not be there as the helicopter parent dad that you are. It was quite an emotional challenge for me. But we've got practice for 3 hours every day this week to make sure that
what kind of recital are we talking here? Like, what is this, like a ballet type thing?
Ballet and jazz. Yes.
Jazz. Okay.
Ballet and jazz. Yes, we are.
That's the trade-off that when you have a girl, you got to do stuff like that. I get that. Like, I'm going to a baseball game tonight. You're going to a dance recital. But man, the boys are just nuts, man. There's no like chill in these kids. I mean, they go. And Donno, you have a boy,
Oh yeah, and he's wild.
There's never a calm moment. Like we had some family over the weekend, and they were just like, it looked like the WWE, and they were wrestling and just nuts, man. Just a lot of energy.
Well, girls have a lot of energy too, but then you also have to deal with, and I hate to say this because it sounds stereotypical, but you have to deal with the emotional element too, where it's like, you hurt my feelings, or you're being mean to me, daddy, because we got things to do. We got places to be. We gotta speed it up and eat dinner, like, so we can go do this 3-hour practice. Like,
Omar's got Dolphin players to rip. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
Dad's got to go rip these players here. But good luck with the recital, though. Good luck with. That's a school thing or
no, outside dance.
Outside
thing.
dance. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good, man.
This is
You got your
recital
Friday
season.
night.
I went to a recital last Friday. It was like, how do you
That's
not
good.
know this is recital season?
Yeah, I think
I
my
didn't know it was
niece
recital
has like a
season.
ballet recital coming up, which thank God I don't have to go to that because they live in Oklahoma. Because it's like, I mean, it's I used to have to go, Omar, when I was growing up. I have an older sister, and so I always had to go to her dance recitals. And man, I was never more bored in my life than going to see like the Nutcracker ballet that she was in. Those ballets are like 3 hours long. I don't know how you do it.
They used to drag us to the Nutcracker too. That was like the school field trip every year.
Oh yeah, we had one of those as well. Oh my God.
No, not a huge fan of the ballet stuff, but and Omar, you're a
Gotta
good
get in
man.
touch with
You're
your
a good
softer
man.
side, gentlemen. Got to get. In
I
touch
like
with
a good play. I'll watch a good play. I'm not like, Joe is like, I fell asleep on Broadway. Like I like a good play. I'll stay. I'm into that, but the ballet stuff I'll leave to you, Omar. I got to bring this one up here. I don't know if you guys saw this. Did you see who's making their triumphant return to First Take on Friday?
Skip Bayless.
They're going to bring that ghoul Skip Bayless back to First Take, presumably to spend 4 hours arguing about how LeBron sucks and Michael Jordan is better, since that's the only thing him and Stephen A. Smith could ever discuss on their show. But, man,
Might be the only thing they
ESPN, are
agree
we
on.
like, what are we doing here? Because, look, he had that situation with Fox, and I don't want to get too deep into that because Skip Bayless I just think is just horrific on many levels. But man, what are we doing at ESPN where it's like we got to bring Skip Bayless in? That's what like passes for good entertainment these days?
You need ratings. You need that. This is the.
Is that going to deliver ratings?
Remember,
I think it will.
Really?
He lost Shannon Sharp.
Yeah.
He started feuding with Cam Newton even though they've ended their beef. He just sat down with Cam Newton and discussed a lot of things, including a lot of controversial stuff that's going on with him. Stephen A is at the top of the food chain when it comes to the media business, and right now it's reuniting him with Skip might move the needle. I'm not sure Stephen A could do anything that moves the needle right now.
Well, and like First Take, you could say what you want to, complain about that show, but they've never really been able to replace Skip on there. Like it's always like, because listen, Stephen A, he holds up his end of the bargain for what that show is.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like they have never been able to recapture the chemistry that Stephen A had with Skip Bayless. Like that was when that show was at its peak. They tried with Max Kellerman and who else they brought in.
I enjoy Shannon Sharp, and I actually enjoyed the show that Shannon did with Skip. Can't remember the name of it, but yeah, I enjoyed a lot of those shows.
I can't remember the name of it either.
I'm sure you really enjoyed it. You must have been a regular watcher. Can't even remember the name of it.
It's hard for me to find Fox.
Was it Undisputed? I think was what it was called.
Yes, Undisputed. Yeah. Now he's doing Skip Bayless is part of it's Agent Zero Arena, Gilbert Arenas' roundtable talk show. Richie Incognito was part of it. They've got Talib, Aqib Talib. And that's actually a good show. I enjoy that. I've actually talked to Richie a little bit about that show, and Richie's, doing Richie things.
How's he doing, by the way?
He's good.
Richie Incognito.
Richie's good. Richie's,
he's always so. I know he had the incident here, but we always liked him.
Yeah. What incident are we talking about?
You know what I'm talking about.
I mean,
got
the one
railroaded though.
The one that Jonathan Martin admitted, like, he kind of made it up.
Yeah, that one, that kind of incident. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I love the fact that Richie was able to regain and return to his NFL career and finish it out on his own terms, and then even went and played for the Raiders for a couple of seasons after his tenure with Buffalo. That was one of the greatest reclamation projects that I've seen in the NFL after they gave him a timeout, because he was too mean.
Oh, John Martin tried to take down anyone in his path. Like he was like a little mini Lance Armstrong. He's like, I'm going to take down anyone who's around me here.
Yeah. So that was a huge, I believe they're working on a documentary, so it should be interesting to
That's
see.
good. That's good to hear. We don't have a lot of sports documentaries these days, so that'll be good. But,
Yeah, I'm very selective on which ones I watch because a lot of them are like white noise to me. But I will watch that one. I will watch the Bullygate doc.
I was just watching Bernie Kosar's because I never understood how Bernie Kosar was in the compensatory draft. And he tweeted out like his story. I guess ESPN must be working on a documentary for Bernie. I don't know. And I found, I mean, there's all kinds. The Allen Iverson documentary. I mean, you're right. We don't have enough documentaries right now for sports. There's a whole network called ESPN that all they're doing is running documentaries.
There have been like 10 or 15 different O.J. Simpson documentaries, but all of them are really good. Like I think I've watched like every one of them, but like the one that 30 for 30 did was really good.
my favorite OJ was the FX one where they had all the characters play the roles.
Acted, and it seemed pretty accurate, like the way, like if you compare that to some of like the documentaries, like it seems like they did an okay job.
I don't know about that, Donno, because he was in it. So, they kind of led you to believe if you watch those documentaries that he did it. Come on now. Hey man, listen, rest in peace to OJ because he gave us a lot of content during the pandemic when he joined
when
Twitter.
You guys used to read the tweets and the comments.
Oh my goodness,
gosh.
that might have been the funniest thing that I've been a part of that we've done on the show. Just reading the Twitter replies to OJ.
Right. Who remembers The Last Dance, man? That was
great
in our life.
Yeah, everyone.
And we needed that so much because there was no actual sports going on. The Last Dance was our sport.
It was appointment watching. Like
it was.
That was probably the last thing I remember sitting down. Like it's 8 o'clock. I got to be there for The Last Dance. Not that I was
like
going
the only thing
that was during COVID, right?
The only thing we had during COVID. The only two things we had during COVID was The Last Dance and Tiger King. Like that was all we got.
Tiger King was good. Tiger King was. He's in prison.
Still, Donald didn't give him a pardon.
No pardon. The Tiger King rots away. By the way, it's time to let that guy out. Right?
Tiger?
What did he? Yeah, but he got all this big sentence for he offered a guy like $100 to whack someone. Like he taking this guy seriously. Come on now.
If it was $3,000, it'd be different, right?
Yeah. No one's doing it for that price. Everyone knows what the going rate is on that. Come on. And then we had the NBA bubble. Don't forget about the NBA bubble. We had that too, Donno. So that was about it, man. Yeah, those were tough times. But I don't know how we got down the show. We were talking about the ESPN show. Heat Colt says on our chat here, I think ESPN tends to fire hosts when they're up for a contract raise and they hire new talent. I think the problem is they gave Stephen A. Smith like $1 billion, right?
Yeah, he makes all the money. They can't afford anybody else. He makes all the money.
Yeah, and I think Stephen A. I think he is his character to me has gotten so over the top, and I like Stephen. I actually do. He's a nice guy. He used to come down here all the time when the Heat were, had their LeBron run, and he was an incredibly nice guy in person. But he just like when he sits down and he gets in front of that screen, it's like he thinks that he, the world is just waiting on every single word he's about to say. Like, come on, man, you're a sports guy, And the other problem is he's into politics.
I was about to say that. Yeah.
I don't know, and I mean this. I don't know what political side he's on. I really don't. I don't want the mix. You got to pick one or the other, man. You can't you can't go down both roads for me.
Well, and it's because people go to sports for their escape from politics is the thing. So it's you have to make a very conscious choice if you want to try to be both, because for what we're doing today, people come to us because they don't want to be watching CNN right now and thinking about wars and gas prices. That's not why they're here right now. And I'm very conscious of that.
They want relief as they go to their pump and play $75 gas to only get halfway.
They don't want to hear it. They already know how much they're paying for gas. They don't need to hear us talking about it.
Yeah, I crossed over the line though earlier. I said I was having trouble booking a flight. I don't know if that's political or not, but this Spirit Airlines thing is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. By the way, I know I've seen companies go out of business. I've never seen an airline with. And by the way, if you were on your trip, good luck. Like, that's your problem getting back.
Did they just like land the plane like wherever they were? It's like, we're
Yeah,
out of
I think if
business.
you were
Let's
in
find a
mid-flight-
field. We're gonna land this plane
Yeah,
right now.
they go emergency landing. Get off our plane. It's not ours anymore.
They're
Like,
actually
they went out of
tracking the
business, and
plane.
they were like, "We don't even have a call center. Like, there's no one for you to call. Just figure it out." And I'm picturing Omar Kelly with I'm picturing Omar at the rental car counter in that picture, being like, "Hey, I need to get home. Like, I'm stranded out here."
If you fly Spirit, you know what you signed up for. Sorry, like you knew this was a possibility. So
Omar is right. The last time I did book a Spirit flight, it didn't even leave. It just never. It was canceled completely. Never left.
Like you
Just
know
never
what you
left.
signed up for. You signed up
Just
to
never-
drive the to be on the Airbus of America. Like,
Well, the problem now becomes, where is everyone going to go? Like, are we going to go all in on Frontier? Because the airlines are like the regular airlines, not the budget airlines. The regular airlines have gotten so expensive now because of this. And there's going to be a ripple effect from this, I imagine. Now, I don't know, Omar, maybe we can find a way, like maybe these Spirit planes turn into private planes and they get, we just get cheaper. I don't know what they're going to do with these planes. They turn them into scrap metal?
No, somebody's going to buy them. Somebody's going to buy them at 50 cents on the dollar. So
Well, that's where you swoop in, Omar. Why don't you get a media plane for the Dolphins? You can have the contingent fly, and you take a little Spirit Airlines or their smallest plane is go make an offer at the auction.
Sorry, don't have the billions. Drake might buy a Spirit plane though.
Might.
All right, we got to take a pause here. I didn't even get to my question, Omar. I was going to ask you about this rookie class, and we got the firsthand reaction. We were in, doing the show the day after the draft, right? And clearly there was a lot of backlash. Now you get a lot of backlash or interaction or whatever on social media and your columns, everything that you do. I'm curious if you think fans have kind of warmed up to the draft class here a little bit, and maybe the outrage of day one was a little bit overblown. So I want to discuss that with you when we come back here on QIM.
Right now, though, I got to tell you listen, to every guy out there, this guy
podcast. Plus, new members can win up to $5,000 in free play. Join the fun at the casino at Dania Beach.
We've made it easy to find us. Listen to WQAM on FM 1043 or on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
Wow, that was so easy.
All of our shows are there live or on demand. Plus, there's the cool rewind feature where you can listen to any part of any show you might have missed. Anytime.
All right, welcome back in here on WQAM. Hollywood, Omar, Kelly, Dan Day along with you. Thank you to Alex Donno for hanging with us here this morning. Omar, all right, I asked you a question before we went off the break there, and we were in, obviously the morning after the draft, and there was intense outrage. Even your friend Uncle Luke was very upset with us that morning. We didn't make the selection of Proctor with Bain on the board. That wasn't Joe's selection. Wasn't my selection. I don't want to speak for Joe.
Wasn't my selection either. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I think, people know where I would have gone with that pick. Nevertheless, I do think, building the offensive line is not a terrible idea.
No.
Anyway, my follow-up question to that would be, have things calmed down a little bit with the fan base, with the stuff that you see? Because you interact with people every day on your columns and on social media. I know there was an amazing amount of outrage after the first round selection. Actually both first round selections, but have things calmed down?
I don't think there was
as far as what you've seen.
I don't think there was outrage regarding Chris Johnson. The one thing that I recently wrote a column about this in the Miami Herald. We're learning a couple of things about these individuals. And the number one thing is that they're going to stand firm with their convictions in evaluations of players. They're not going to be swayed. This is their vision to make this team bigger, more physical. And that first selection was a primary example of it. Now, while Caden Proctor is labeled as a boom or bust prospect, he is one of the biggest, most athletic individuals in the NFL. And this follows through with their planet Earth theory, which comes from Bill Parcells, which was shared by Ron Wolf, which is there only a finite amount of individuals on this earth who are so big and so athletic, and you need to collect them. And so if that's what we can expect from this organization for the next 3 or 4 years, I think it's a good trend. Clearly, it didn't take advantage of selecting Ruben Bain, which is a hometown kid. And we'll probably compare Ruben Bain's career to Caden Proctor's career, probably their entire career.
But there is a world where they both have good careers, right? I mean, like, it doesn't have to be one or the other. And it's also not an apples to apples comparison. Like, this is not going to be a Justin Herbert, compared to Tua. Like,
that's fair.
Those guys, I mean, it's relatively difficult to compare an offensive lineman to an edge rusher, but I understand what you're saying. Those guys will certainly be linked together because Bain was on the board right there and was clearly the popular pick from the fan base.
And I think he would have been a great cultural fit. I think he was a great positional need. However, he didn't fit their prototype. It didn't. And I don't necessarily agree with him because I think he was one of the best edge setting defensive ends in this draft. And the Dolphins still don't have an edge setting defensive end on the roster. So, but they follow through with what they see fit for the organization, which was size. And they follow through. Their draft is very consistent. They pick the players that they like. Chris Johnson, not many people had him as a second cornerback coming off the board. Well, he was, and the Dolphins picked him. Jacob Rodriguez, some people had him as a first-round pick. I had him as a first-round pick. Some people had him going in round 3. Well, they took him as a third inside linebacker in that draft, and they were convicted about it. The tight ends, there was a run on tight ends who can block. They clearly needed a tight end who can block, so they selected one in the 3rd round. Same thing with the wide receiver. There were 12 other wide receivers that a lot of people had rated higher than Caleb Douglas, and Dolphins said, we don't care. We like who we like.
And I think John Eric Sullivan clearly has put his, all his cards on the table here. Like he's all in on a few different picks here. These first round picks have to work, right? And you talk about Proctor, like that's not the most sure, slam dunk pick you could have made. And We had someone send in here. Caleb Downs was on the board. I think that was your pick, if I'm not mistaken, Omar. We had you on that morning or that day. We did the draft preview show, and I think that was who you had wanted. But between Proctor and Malik Willis, he also like they've spoken very highly about Malik Willis. Like, they're all in on a few of these guys.
I've never been obsessed with Caleb Downs. I didn't get it. Now understand.
Wasn't he your pick or was he not?
No, he wasn't.
Someone else. Pick. Who was your pick?
I wanted Vega, the Penn State offensive guard.
Now we have to go back to the tapes. I feel like you picked Downs, but all right, continue.
I mean, if Downs was there, I would have traded down and picked up the 2 first rounders too. I love that trade. You're picking up 3 players for the price of 1. Love it. And supposedly, according to the recordings and what Steve Ross, the owner, said, we moved down, picked up 2 5s, and we were going to pick you anyway. And that's, trust me, knowing Steve Ross is a truth teller. So, that was a brag on his end. And he was like, see how smart my GMs are? So that Proctor was who they wanted, who they intended to take. And that follows through with their vision for this team. It's going to be very interesting to see what a line which features 2 6'7", 6'6", 350-pound left side players looks like, because that's going to be one massive left side of the offensive line.
Yeah, and one thing I will say too, and I know everyone is really involved in the draft and wants to say give grades and different stuff, and like it's going to take a little time here, man, before we really figure out like who the best players and like this. You say the best player on the board was Caleb Downs. Like we don't know, like that might not end up being the case, right? And we'll find out. But yes, the Dolphins could have taken him. They could have taken Bain. There were a few different options that the Dolphins could have gone with. They went with Proctor, and the rest is history now. And the rookies will report on Friday to Miami Gardens for minicamp. So there you go, Omar. That's the story, and we got to let it play out a little bit. I want to give these guys the benefit of the doubt. That's basically what we tried to do on the Friday after the draft, is just say, listen, I know that we know it's not the popular pick. Everyone would have liked Ruben Bain, but you have to give these guys at least one draft. Like, give them a fair shot to at least have one draft before we, say it's the same old Dolphins. Now, if this guy Proctor comes into camp 100 pounds overweight or something like that, and we have a situation, that's not good. That would be very problematic.
What about if he needs an IV on his first day of minicamp?
That's okay, because I probably am going to need an IV on the first day of minicamp. It's hot as hell out there, man.
It is hot as hell out there.
But I mean, if he's from Alabama, like, you act like he's from like the North Dakota or something. Like, he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Sure,
he'll be fine. Hopefully, we'll find out. Anyway.
You know how many rookies always need an IV? Over under is about 4 for this camp.
It's hot out there, man. It's hot.
It's hot. Yeah, you're right. It's got to rain and overcast, but yeah, I get you.
So just a couple of thoughts here from our listeners. At Monka Buddha says, I pray that they crush you with these picks as a season ticket holder. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I hope it all works out here. Fins Up says Bain won't even come close to having a career like TJ Watt, Max Crosby, Aiden Hutchinson.
And what if he does?
Yeah, I think it's a little early to say whose career he's going to have, but again, these guys that haven't played it down in the NFL, so I just I think it's tough. You never know how guys are going to translate.
Oh, I love how Ruben Bain's wired, though. I love how he's wired.
Yeah. I think a lot of people do, and that's why everybody wanted him here, and that's why the Tampa Bay Bucks took him. But the Dolphins had other plans, and I think they were pretty clear when they said this was our guy from the beginning. This is the guy that we wanted. Like, they didn't mix, like, they weren't like, oh, he fell to us and we were screwed. No, they wanted this guy all along, and they took who they wanted, and
they took who that's the one thing.
Again, you hope you did their they did the proper due diligence, and that this guy's got a good head on his shoulders.
That's the one thing you could say about the common theme of the 2026 draft. They took who they wanted. This wasn't a consolation prize draft. No, they targeted these guys, and they took them, a lot of them, earlier than most people expected. So let's just hope that they're really good at evaluating talent, and let's hope that they're good at developing talent, because that's a major part of it as well.
Yeah, and we'll find out in the coming days. Your Friday, Omar. Friday, you get to head back out to
I'm going to
Miami
find out
Gardens.
absolutely nothing Friday.
That's how you're supposed to tell us. You're supposed to tease us and tell us after
Okay.
Friday you're going to know.
Oh, yeah.
If you're going to know, give us a fair grade on the draft. You're going to know
one
if they
thing- the one
screwed up
thing-
on the picks. Like,
The one thing I will say is it gives me an opportunity where I'm going to get face to face with a lot of these rookies, and I'm able to size them up, because I could remember from last year when I met Zeke Biggers, I was just immediately like, you're the largest of all these defensive linemen. You just look different than everybody else. And I'm still a huge Zeke Biggers fan from that moment.
all right, fair enough. So Omar will get to stand with the players next week, or no, this week, Friday, coming up here. I want to play this for you, Omar, and we're gonna wrap things up in about 20 minutes. Hand it over to Tobin and Leroy. Dan, can we play this? Omar, I know you appreciate a good press conference and a feisty reporter here. So, the Toronto Maple Leafs hired John Chayka as their new GM. I know you don't know who that is. It doesn't matter. He had a little bit of a rough start to his GM career. He was the youngest ever to be a GM in the NHL. He was 26. He was with the Coyotes. He
26.
I know. Man, I'm not, again, not an
barely out of
NHL
diapers.
savant here, so I don't. But so anyway, so he was suspended from working the NHL for the remainder of the 2021 calendar year. NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman cited conduct detrimental to the league and game. Further ruled that Chayka had breached his obligation to the club by pursuing opportunities with other clubs while still under contract with the Coyotes. Anyway, it says, and it goes on to say him and the Coyotes were later revealed to have hosted a private scouting combine for draft prospects, which is forbidden. They had to give up a second-round pick and a first-round pick. So anyway, it didn't go well. It didn't go well. Long story short, it did not go well. But that's fine. I want to play for you. Now, this is the introductory press conference. So the guy is sitting right there. And the question is getting addressed to the president of the team. And this is from Toronto. Dan, hit it.
Steve Simmons, Toronto Sun, for Keith. You talk about the due diligence that you did on John prior to hiring him and now hiring him. In the past, say 3 to 4 days, I have been in contact with about 20 people who work in the National Hockey League, many of whom are prominent names that we would all know. And of the 20 people I spoke to, one was supportive of John's hiring, and the other 19 thought it was a sham, to be perfectly honest. Words were used like con artist, liar, salesman. How did you come to a different conclusion that I was able to come to in a very short time?
I must have talked to different people.
That's it? Because I'm telling you, the hockey world today is astounded by this announcement.
Okay.
And your response to that?
Is we've conducted due diligence, and it was deep due diligence. It was a thorough process, and I'm quite happy with where we've landed.
So there you go. The guy, by the way, Omar, is sitting right there. So this is like, imagine, the Dolphins are introducing John Eric Sullivan, and you fire off a question like I just spoke to 20 people in the NFL. 19 of them think that this guy is a con man. Your thoughts on what you just heard there? That was a pretty wild line of questioning.
Eloquent question. I'm not.
Is that
sure.
okay? Is that fair? Is that
absolutely? I'm not sure I could have come with the kind of tact and presence that had. And understand, as reporters, our job is to ask the questions and do the work that the average fan wants to know and represent the average fan.
But I do think there's a way to ask that question without it just coming off as like a massive personal attack on the guy. Like that was just like, first of all, they're introducing the guy, but that was like, you had to call him a con man. Like it just seemed a little rough for and I will say this, Omar, I'm guessing that guy's going to have a tough time getting quotes here in the future from anyone around that team. And that's just how it's going to work, right? Like that's right or wrong. I'm guessing that guy is not going to have an easy time covering that team from here on out.
The line of questioning has never scared me or impacted my ability to do my job. I'm pretty sure that Toronto.
Yeah, but I don't think you would ask a question like that. Like, would you phrase it that way? It just seems a little much.
No,
and I like a good ripping. I love it, but it just seemed a little much.
There are things that I'm sure I've ripped people for. Like, I'm pretty sure I've ripped people for a lot of things. So yes, I would. I think the question was excellent, and sometimes you get information that allows you to have a better, deeper, clearer understanding about who they just hired. And that takes me time. Like and I wrote about this in the Herald, in a column that's up now. I didn't initially believe that Jeff Hafley was if he didn't land the Dolphins job, somebody was gonna go hire him. If he got on a plane, he was leaving and he was never coming back. I didn't believe that initially. I thought that was bull crap. And come to find out, yep, it was true. If he got on that plane and went to Tennessee or the Raiders, yeah, he ain't gonna be the Dolphins coach, because neither of them are gonna let him out of the organization. So that changed my perspective a little bit, and learning how he communicates changed my perspective. And I wrote about this. It takes him 30 seconds to say what would take Mike McDaniel 3 minutes. Like, done. He's done. By the time you take a sigh, he's done saying clearly and concisely what would take Mike McDaniel 3 minutes, if not 3 hours.
I always wonder, by the way, like this guy Cody just sent in, this is why Miami media is so terrible, scared to ask real questions. I always wonder, like, if someone like that, like if they were invited to a press conference, if they would, look Chris Greer in the eyes and say, do you deserve to be fired? Or ask Mike, or one of those things, right? I mean, you got to be you have to show a little bit of tact when you ask these things.
You do have to show a little bit of tact, but it doesn't change the dynamic and nature of your relationship. Chris Greer knew I was headhunting for his job from last year. It doesn't change. You're clearly the person I identify as the problem. I'm not going to let go of that. And it doesn't change the nature of your relationship. He still has to answer questions. You still have to ask them. So
Lewis likes to fish, says in fairness, he did say he was quoting people. And I don't know about you, Omar, but people come out with that anonymous source thing, right? They come out with, the anonymous source says Malik Willis sucks. I'm not a huge fan of those reports, because first of all, they could very well just be made up, right? Okay. For clicks. There's no way to verify it, right? And I've seen that.
I'm not.
Oh no, they go like an anonymous NFL GM says nobody was going to pay Malik Willis anything. Come on.
I'm not. I don't think anybody should make up things for clicks, because it's not worth your job. It's not worth your credibility. Mm-hmm. It really depends on the reporter. It takes whiles you develop relationships where people talk to you and give you real information on deep, background. For instance, I'm not sure who was bidding on Malik Willis other than the Miami Dolphins. It doesn't seem like the Arizona Cardinals were. It doesn't seem like the New York Jets were. Mm-hmm. But the price was the price. So you paid the price, and honestly, it was a lot lower than a lot of people projected. But until somebody flat out tells me, yeah, and they can't with certainty say, well, maybe the agent can. And the agent would never do this. Absolutely nobody was bidding on Malik Willis. No, you can't sit there and write an anonymous source story that says, oh, nobody was bidding on Malik Willis, because that you could lose all credibility by writing something that's factually inaccurate just because a source told you to. So you gotta double check things. You gotta cross things off, and you really have to trust the people you're getting information from, and that's hard to do in these days.
Yeah, and I appreciate that process, Omar. But I think that there are a lot of Twitter accounts out there that don't necessarily go through the process there.
You're absolutely correct. I've seen a lot of fake thing. I mean, right now you can't even watch a video on Twitter. I'm watching 4-minute movie clips and come to learn, and I'm totally into the movie, trying to figure out what the movie was. It's AI created.
What movie was this?
I don't know, some movie where a girl got inside an alligator and then like was the alligator was like a spy vehicle, and then she infiltrated like the swamp camp of some I don't know nefarious organization in this alligator. I was watching this whole movie for like 5 minutes, and I was just like, what is this movie? Because I got to see this thing. It was very thorough, very detailed. And then come to find
Shame
out
they're not making it. Probably would have won Best Picture. All right, we got to take a pause. We'll come back, wrap this thing up. We'll hand it off to Tobin and Leroy when we come back here on QIM.
Hey, Atlantic Men's Clinic. I talked about it earlier.
TuneIn apps.
We've got plenty of ways for you to listen to your favorite shows and favorite teams on WQAM.
How is that, if I may ask?
We're at FM 1043, or you can listen to WQAM on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps. Check it out now.
All right, welcome back in here on WQAM as we get set to close this one out. We got Tobin and Leroy waiting in the on-deck circle. Omar, thank you for hanging with us here this morning. I am going to have Dan Day, so Steph is in there vacuuming. I'm sorry, Steph. I just want to have Dan Day promote his event one more time if we could. Dan, Dan's got his big Cinco de Mayo event. I'm very curious, Dan, if we can promote this one more time here. Where are you going to be today?
Yeah, Duffy's in Plantation right there on University. They're going to have, of course, like margarita and taco specials all day, and I'm just going to be playing tunes, man. So early in the day, going to try to have some mellow, good stuff going on, keep the vibes going, and then, of course, as the night goes on and the party gets flowing, gets a little more spicy, I guess you'd say. So,
Nice.
Yep. So basically from like 3:30 to 11 o'clock at night. And I never leave early. If you know me, I never leave early from work. I never leave early from a party. So I'll be there all night.
Well, that sounds like a plan there. Again, Omar, thank you for hanging with us here this morning. We're going to we'll get Joe some tussin or whatever it is that he needs, and we'll get him back in action here hopefully tomorrow. So thank you also to Alex Donno, who spent a few hours with us here this morning as well. Tobin and Leroy, they are coming up next here on WQAM. Have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning.
Nobody should shoot any liquids at me.
Dan, can we clip that?
WQAM broadcasting live from the